Crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Nashville, another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
All right, time for the crossover. Brought to you by Everlevel Concrete Repair and Everlevel Omaha and EverlevelConcrete.com.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I got to update my list of comings and goings. On 3 has
Is On 3 coming or going?
Don't tell me.
On 3 is staying, but Terrence Knighton is going.
Oh, not the pot roast. I just had a lovely helping of pot roast over the last couple weeks. Yeah. It's pot roast season.
It is pot roast, especially today.
Nice, warm you up in the crock pot. Pot roast. Where's he going?
I wonder. Do you think he's just
death row?
Do you think he's just going to quit being a coach? Do you think he's done?
I do not think that.
I think he's going to start his own
school.
school.
So this is kind of odd.
How would he look in this chair?
So Nebraska practiced yesterday. He was on the field.
Yeah.
He was just on Nebraska's stream for their recruiting.
I know.
Weird.
So it was funny because I was sitting at the table last night and I have a screen next to me and they pipe in the Husker Vision stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the feeds come from or whatever, but a feed they were recording some of the stuff that they're putting out right now.
What?
I was like,
that's not live?
It is not live.
Hot mics?
No.
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
It is not live.
Hold on. Are you telling us?
Well, some of it's not live. I don't know. Some of it is definitely not live. I am telling you that because I can confirm that. And I was like, well, it's Garrett McGuire. He's here. There he is. He's wearing an N on his chest. He's in. Maybe he's the Nebraska's new quarterbacks coach.
So do we all have to quote tweet that and give no new information?
That Terrence Knighton.
No, we actually don't have to do anything, Josh.
Oh.
That is an option.
Oh, okay.
That is an option.
But I have to update my list of leaving, coming, and staying, or arriving.
You don't have to. You don't have to yet. Maybe at some point.
You can always come back.
You can always come back.
I could, but you want to be first, right? People remember.
No, I think actually incorrect.
I think
You don't want to be first nowadays. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, but leads it leads.
Yeah.
Wait, that's something else.
I mean, unless you're going to live a life like Shams or somebody like that. What does being first get you?
What does even tweeting get you? I hate this. This is so stupid.
You're out on Twitter?
Everyone's fighting with each other.
Yesterday was not a good day.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things I talked about. Jimmy and I were talking about. We had people that were upset that Tony White changed his Twitter bio so soon.
Everybody's running a little hot
so
right now.
stupid.
Yeah.
Is there like a time
you know
where
what
it's
we
okay?
need? You know what we need is we're running hot. Not a Flobraska kid.
That's not a thing. Stop saying that.
Flobraska, Flow Sports.
All you talked about was Calabraska.
I'm here for this.
Now, why can't you embrace Flobraska?
Yeah, you
said
loved
that
Keyshawn
ironically.
Johnson. You loved Keyshawn.
You were
Johnson.
like, you know what?
Calabraska.
Boogie. Is Boogie gonna come?
I loved Buki. I
He was
thought
a nice kid.
Buki was a great kid, and I thought he was going to be a pretty good player. And he ended up being a fine player at multiple institutions that weren't Nebraska.
Can I tell you a quick story about that kid?
Buki.
So we had.
He's like Mooshi.
It's just
that's all I kept saying is just Buki.
Buki.
When he came in for the spring game before his senior year, the major Adidas reps were at the spring game because Nebraska, they said, hey, we need some help. We're going to have like the best unofficial visits we've ever had. We'd like Adidas to be here. So Riley told the main guy, or Riley's right-hand man told the main guy from Adidas,
DVD,
who the most important guy is on campus, and you need to hook him up in Adidas Nebraska gear that you can't find anywhere else.
You bet.
They brought a baseball jersey that had not been unveiled yet and was only made one, and they presented it to Buki. And he
wore it.
Yeah, so Nebraska asked Buki, for the sake of Adidas and Nebraska and for all the other recruits, to wear this cool jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And he wore the jersey all day.
He
didn't even come here.
No, but I think he made an appearance at the Nebraska baseball game, though.
Yes.
I believe that weekend.
So
because it was the spring game weekend.
That was part of the deal. Is he went, they gave him this special jersey because he was the number one guy, and then they showed him off in this jersey.
And he got to keep the jersey after?
Yeah, but he never came here.
Parting gift.
It was Buki. Yeah. And I thought Buki was coming here. And then we had a listener get sued by the University of Nebraska because he made Buki shirts. Before Buki
Different
had committed
time.
to
You
Nebraska.
can't put the word Buki on a shirt.
Well, he
Or
made the
Buki?
shirt and he included the Nebraska logo. And
Okay, that's bad.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't
got
include
out,
the
and
Nebraska,
Nebraska
logo.
was going to sue the guy. And
Pick
he
another
was just a
letter.
guy on the side that was making T-shirts.
You could just write a shirt that says Bookie, and everybody in Nebraska knows that it says Bookie, not Bookie.
And now you can buy a shirt that says straight out of Lincoln.
Straight out of Lincoln, bleeping Nebraska. Is that guy still there?
He wasn't the last couple of
Is he
games.
okay?
Well, I'm sure that they found out. Like,
yeah, but he's
started-
been doing it for decades. So
Yeah.
I would.
saw these
I
shirts
think
at
they
the
moved him
Bowl
off
game.
his spot. They have changed. So they let you drink and you just walk with an open container
That's right.
wherever.
That's right.
But if you're selling T-shirts out of a duffel bag, you're screwed.
Oh, come on.
Drink the beer.
They're
put
coming
the
after
t-shirts
you.
away.
I love that guy. I'm never gonna buy one of his shirts, but I like that he's there. I'm sorry.
Have you ever?
It adds to
have
the
you ever-
experience.
Have you ever said that to him?
Yeah, well, I never told him. I never say never to him, but I always tell him no, obviously, because his shirts are really gaudy and they're red and they say Lincoln bleeping Nebraska on them.
You could maybe pull it off. You just can't have the camera too long.
I know.
Just-
Yeah, but it's just not my style. Nope.
Plus, you're dead now. You don't need to be spreading that kind of.
exactly
nonsense.
no vulgarities.
Yeah.
No more vulgarities in my life. I don't cuss anymore.
So the Royals are in the playoffs again
Yeah,
next year.
exactly. Until they play at the home of the Pinstripe Bowl in the playoffs or in the ALDS again. It'll be fun. It's not Giancarlo's fault.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Careful of those subways. I heard they're very dangerous.
I'm juiced about the Pinstripe Bowl.
John
I
Rocker
told you
did
guys
say
this
stuff.
I've
yesterday.
turned around on it. I've turned around.
I'm
on it.
ready. I'm ready.
I don't think it's a great game to. I mean, because it's a baseball stadium.
So go. Why don't you go? New York, great city on earth.
Too cold.
Pizza.
I think I'm gonna be somewhere else a little bit warmer.
You know where it's cold too, Jimmy?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha, Nashville, several other bowl locations, Detroit.
Could have gone to two baseball stadiums, Phoenix or New York. One would have the roof open and one would have it closed, and it wouldn't be the one you think.
That's true. That is actually true. Yeah.
It doesn't appear to be a great place to watch a football game.
No.
The way they have it.
Sure.
No,
way
but
they
it's
have it set up.
goofy. It's a bowl game. It's goofy.
Which
It's wacky.
is Nebraska or the other team going to do the ridiculous pinstripe uniforms that one team always seems
Oh, I think
to
you got
trot
to do
out?
it. I think you got to do it.
Oh, there'd be a meltdown or
It's a bowl game. Tradition doesn't matter. Nothing matters. You're gonna Nebraska's gonna have a roster full of 18 people. Nobody's gonna play. No, who's gonna coach? Nobody.
there's the
think they could
promo.
get- you don't
Wear
think-
whatever the hell you want.
You don't think they could get to 22 players?
Maybe 22. Maybe 22 if
Power
they're
play
lucky.
for Boston College.
What would a pinstripe Nebraska uniform look like?
It'd be awesome. It'd look horrendous.
Yeah.
Just bring back the OT
Well, okay,
unis and
so-
slick
so
pinstripes.
Nebraska-
no,
Nebraska baseball.
thick.
Nebraska
Too thick.
baseball has their home white pinstripes.
Yeah, those are good. Throw it in on the breast.
Go white on white.
The brass.
Yeah. Yeah. Baseball jersey, football jersey. Doesn't
I'm trying to think. Didn't Virginia Tech do pinstripe jerseys? for
Somebody
the
did
I
Pinstripe
feel like
Bowl?
Notre Dame.
they did Notre
something like
Dame
that,
play the
maybe.
Pinstripe Bowl?
What if Nebraska did a throwback to the time they were in the Gotham Bowl?
What did they wear that day?
Don't forget the Gotham Bowl.
1962, right?
Yeah, Max Schreck was out there for the coin toss.
All right,
Mayor.
let's see. Let's
He
Oh
was a
yeah,
mayor.
Notre Dame wore some really ugly ass baseball jerseys.
Nebraska wore black and white. Get it?
I-
That's the pictures were anyway.
I have a
No, it
good
looks like
one.
they wore pretty regular uniforms.
They wore a sepia tone jersey.
They played Miami in that game. Back to
Wow, the original Nebraska Miami game.
that's the one time Nebraska split a bowl game in New York.
Georgia,
The,
yeah.
1962 Gotham Bowl.
36-34. That's like 90 to 87 now.
So if you guys remember, not long after that, Nebraska went on a dominant run for 30 years.
I've heard.
So
Oh, yes, we did.
might be something to that.
Financial
Well,
times.
that game was a pick'em.
Yeah, Nebraska won by 2.
Wow.
Back.
It was on the Dumont network.
Wait a minute. What do you mean that are you making up that line or did they?
No, it says it here on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, there's a line for it.
Usually we'll say the weather. Probably chilly.
We are getting reports of the
What?
Creighton women's game over on 1180.
Oh, yeah,
that
you
there
wanna
is
dip in?
way too much screaming going on.
Yeah, not surprising.
It's Kids Day in Cincinnati, and
Yeah.
the Creighton women are forced to play there against Xavier.
They're expecting 4,000 children.
That's too many.
Yeah, too many. I think at our kids' day this year we had maybe 3, and they felt like it was the best it's ever been. I can't imagine. And that arena is smaller than Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yes.
Ugh.
Hey, can I ask you about
Cintas Center.
a thing I saw tweeted last night? What was up? What did Britt Prince get?
Oh, yeah. She got a warning for
Oh,
handing the ball to an official.
Thank you guys for mentioning this because so the ref comes up to the table afterwards. Somebody gets a basket on Lindenwood, and she pulls the ball out of the hoop, and I don't even know what she did. I honestly didn't even see it. Whatever she did with it. So the ref comes up, stops play, whistle, whistle, whistle. It gets dead quiet, and the ref comes up to the table, and he whispers in our ear. He's like, "Delay a game 23," and I'm like, "What? What do you mean delay a game? You could have just not blown the whistle. It should be a delay game on you." And
because he's literally delaying the game.
He's literally delaying the game. So he goes, delay a game. And I go, should I say that?
Oh, now officials call it delay a game.
and he was like, whatever. And I'm like, yep. And I was like, delay a game. And then we just moved on.
5 yards.
We just moved on.
2nd and 10. Fly ball.
Sometimes the refs have to come to the table and ask for help. Sometimes they come over and I'm like, hey, you screwed that one up. And sometimes they're like, damn, I know. You got me. I'm going to get you next time.
Big fan of the show.
Yeah, fan of the show.
Is it screaming? Josh is listening to the.
Oh,
Creighton
you want
women's
to pipe it up?
I think they're in a commercial break.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. They'll pipe it
They're
up.
playing Katy Perry's Firework, and it's
That's
just
a banger for them. They
screaming
love
children.
fireworks.
ambient noise of just screaming children.
Did you guys make a run to McDonald's yesterday for the McRib coming back? Is that a thing?
No, but I'll get
No,
there.
that's
I'll
stupid.
get there.
I've never had a McRib in my life.
For some people, it was like a moment they were looking forward to next to their firstborn.
Yeah.
That the McRib was making its return for a brief time.
People get
That's
heated over that.
ridiculous.
I do one every time it's back.
So 4 times a year?
That's right.
I know they always take it away, and then people
It's a
like
farewell tour.
Well, the last time
so
they
outrage, and it comes back.
the last time they literally said this is the last time, and
You
I
mean
said
it?
you're a liar. That's not
The
happening.
Rolling Stones are still touring. Trust me, you're lying.
It's coming back.
Exactly. I spent a lot of money to go watch Motley Crue because it was the last tour. And then you know what? 2 years later, they come to the same town I saw them in.
The
They're
McRib
out.
will never ever die.
Neither will the crew.
Texter writes in, Nebraska should wear white pants with red pinstripes at the Pinstripe Bowl. It's not Giancarlo's fault. Yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
I think also
Yes, they can.
that will be
Maybe Costas could do the game. What network is that game on?
ABC.
Amazing. Nebraska football back on the ESPN family of networks.
Well, all but 2 bowl games are on the ESPN family of networks.
Amazing. That's
Good game.
I missed it.
Call
Nebraska
Brent
hasn't gone to a bowl
Musburger.
game in 8 years.
Brent Musburger out of retirement.
Yeah.
Get Al Michaels back on ABC
Maybe
for one day only.
Veasan can do the game or something like that.
We'll probably get, what would you think, the 4th or 5th
Let's
ABC
see.
crew?
No, I want Joe Tessitore.
Maybe you'll get Beth.
Now, I think Joe had a
Let's see who did the game.
Joe had a
last
rough
year.
Friday night in the Georgia Tech game.
Last year, the Pinstripe Bowl, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl on ESPN, attended by 35,000 people, was broadcasted by Drew Carter, Rod Gilmore,
I
and
know.
Taylor Davis.
You get what you deserve.
Mhm.
I don't. Where do I know Rod Gilmore from? Rod-
He used to work with Mark Jones, and he's been on ESPN.
That's
forever.
right. Taylor Davis.
Don't confuse
she
him
did some
with
stuff
Joey
with the
Galloway.
Royals. She's kind of around the
Yeah.
region.
Drew
I
Carter,
don't know Drew Carter.
I believe he's the new TV voice of the Celtics, and most famously, I believe this is the same Drew Carter that was the voice of the Toy Story football game last year.
Whoa!
Which that would be all over my resume. if
Look
I
at
had
young Drew. Young Drew.
tiny baby announcer.
Oh, so they're going to need a Simpsons broadcaster for Monday
Mhm.
for the Cowboys
Mhm.
game. Yeah.
He graduated from Syracuse in
Oh,
2013.
They all do.
surprise.
Just ask them; they'll tell you.
Yes, I graduated from the Mike Tirico School of Broadcasting.
That's
Thank you.
not what it's called. It's the Marv Albert School.
Oh,
Hey, that is so true. Like, because we've had some Syracuse broadcasters here,
Many.
like Mark Nasser, who used to be the longtime voice of the Storm Chasers.
yeah.
Yeah, they will tell you that they graduated from Syracuse.
That's right. I went to Syracuse.
Yeah, this is my Otto the Orange.
Why does the Storm Chasers always hire a New York guy to do their play-by-play?
The Storm Chasers in cahoots
And they
with
hired
Syracuse?
Nick is from California.
Yeah, Nicholas, young Nicholas.
Young Jake was also
Yeah, he was.
Young
he's,
Jake.
he's a New York guy.
a New York guy.
Jake.
He's like Ryan.
Jake went to Maryland.
Yes,
He's a turtle.
Young Jake went to Maryland. And young Nick went to Arizona State.
yes.
Nice.
College football playoff bound Arizona State.
Big 12
Until
power.
Saturday when they get beat by Iowa State.
Whoa. I don't think so, buddy.
I'm on the Matt Campbell train.
Don't
here.
you
I got
want
the
Iowa
Clones
State
winning.
to make the college football playoff before Iowa?
Well, kind of, yeah. I guess.
That's a win-win.
But I think it'd be funny if Arizona State was in the playoff, just
Scatterboo.
for the look of it.
And they're forced to go to.
Kenny Dillingham would be a known name, known commodity.
So maybe they don't want.
That guy's yelling at everybody.
Everybody's young. He's 33.
Yeah.
The OC at OU is 29.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Nebraska added a couple of ages to their wide receiver coach. He's 29.
Nebraska's got an under 30, another under 30 on their staff.
Anti-AARP.
Hey, add Phil Snow, closing in on 70. Then you got a wide receiver coach, McGuire, if he sticks around.
Young is the new old.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't get that big break by 30, it's over.
Yeah, you're done.
No, but
But I didn't go to Syracuse. That's why.
29,
Sorry.
29 years old and you're an OC at an SEC school.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty good.
At 29, I was calling plays on NCAA football and succeeding.
Yeah. 29. It was only 3
I don't remember what I
years
was doing
ago.
when I was 29.
Asian Joe writes in, more
Hi,
annoying
Asian Joe.
journalism alumni, Syracuse or Northwestern. I worked with a Syracuse broadcasting
Mizzou
alum
TV,
once.
I need to throw in there too. They will be happy to tell you that they were Mizzou made.
Mizzou, throw them in there for sure.
How come us Nebraskans don't say, I went to Nebraska's broadcasting school?
You know, maybe I don't know. We're getting there.
Because we all stay here.
We
don't ever move outside of the
It's like,
border.
what, you went to Nebraska? Oh, you're in the media. You cover Nebraska football. That's
I
right.
Just take it. You liked it that much
right.
that why leave?
I will say they've really stepped up their game on the BTN plus the children's broadcasts lately. Actually, I shouldn't say that because I haven't heard the broadcast, but they're giving them the tools necessary.
Cigarettes?
They're giving them a sideline reporter.
Whoa.
There's a sideline reporter, a young sideline reporter wearing a suit, and they do
And bands.
they do a stand up. They they have lights off to the side. They got an IFB. Like they're hooking them up, which is great. Great to see. We didn't have that when I was in college. Should we go to Cintas Center in Cincinnati?
Good. The rebound grab.
Oh
by
my God.
Minerva. Minerva will bring it the other way for the Musketeers. Minerva
There's one
picks up
kid
a
right
dribble
next to the
inside.
mic.
They go down to Christie. Christie puts the shot up. No good off the rim. The rebound.
Oh, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
They're screaming like someone just pissed their pants.
Oh.
And here come the Jays with
All right,
numbers.
time to text our dear friend Glenn Sisk. How you doing?
Oh,
How you doing, buddy?
hey. And, Glenn is a very cheery guy. I bet he is just swinging it right now. Angry. We may have to move his crowd mic, though.
Doing a solo broadcast at 10 in the morning in Cincinnati.
How'd that kid get so close to that microphone?
Is that kid sitting?
Was that kid saying "Go Big Red"?
Hey, mister, what you doing? Mind if I take a peek?
Hey, starts to tap on the mic. Is this on?
Can I pick your nose?
What is this? Starts eating it. That's what my kid would do. You put anything in front of my kid, she goes, "Arr," and just starts eating the whole thing. Hey, Sophie, high five.
Stop eating the headset.
Please tell me that you do sound effects. All of her motions and stuff. You
you have
add
to.
sound effects.
Well,
to them?
she's starting to do sound effects herself.
Nice.
So I like to copy off of her. She's doing almost like a growly sort of roar. I think she might think she's a lion.
Could we get
Dan
your
Campbell.
daughter and Josh to
kinda
do
goes,
the growly grunt bowl schedule?
Oh, I could get her to.
You record her.
I could get her to record that, and then I could send it in and put it on the grunt slate.
I think it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The growl against the grunt. Go through the entire bowl schedule.
Would this do anything? Or what would this mean in grunt terms? Because that's kind of what she does. Does that mean anything to you?
Sounds like she's trying to yell Drago.
Yeah. I go to her and I look her in the eye and I say, dad. Say dad. She goes,
Correct. Yes.
Close enough.
I appreciate that you're trying. Thank you. All right. Well,
Have fun tonight.
oh, it's gonna be fun, all right.
It will be.
Fun will
It's
be
a great
had.
matchup.
No, I was very serious.
I hope it's a great uniform game. Potential if KU just wears their regular blue.
I don't know what Creighton's planning on doing. I assume they're just going to wear white.
So would they bust them out here? I don't think so. But then again, I don't know.
Creighton's already wore powder this year. Actually, you know what?
Gray.
Creighton has a. They have one that they haven't. They have one that they haven't rolled out quite yet.
Black.
The Grays?
I believe they added a navy this year.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Tonight's the night, right?
Navy?
I don't know. I don't know if tonight's
Yeah.
tonight. I don't know if tonight.
I like that they added a navy.
By the way,
but
it just-
thought
I
it was
think
black
I
before.
think they did. Now, I shouldn't say that because I'm not 100% sure on that. But they've been adding it to the color scheme just gradually over the last sort of year. I
a
think
soft launch.
I think they have access.
Can you guys easily discern between navy and black?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. No. Yes, I can.
Really?
Yeah, I see color.
Okay. Connor Happer quote, I see color.
Is that kind of like the Dana Holgorsen out of context stuff today?
Yeah, what was he talking about?
That's not the first time that's been said about Dana.
He doesn't talk in like normal sentences. He will get on a roll and then it becomes real choppy.
Yeah.
And so he just gives you like a sound bite, like just a drop. He starts talking in drops.
I caught on fire
Love
3
3-1.
times. He's on fire. He caught on fire 3 times. What does that mean?
No one knows what it means.
Arson.
But he did say,
Did he play a game of
Shut
hot
up.
foot down in the bullpen?
he did say that they are going to have 20 to 30 portal visits. He's running it.
Let's go.
This is
He's
now an
cooking.
offensive program.
Dana Holgorsen is the head coach of the offense.
Yes.
I believe that's what it says on Huskers.com.
Head coach of the offense?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You should do that. Now, who's the head coach of the defense? Is it Matt Rule?
Maybe we'll.
Mhm.
I think that was just for this year.
Seemed like it.
I wonder if he will have anything to say today on that.
I wonder.
There will be probably more questions about
Maybe he could do
recruiting
it.
class.
Another surprise. Oh, well, we got our coordinator. Here he is. It's John Butler. Say hi. Hi, everybody.
Coach.
Hi,
Hey.
everybody.
Hey, Sip.
Yeah, so we're going to let John coordinate the defense.
You think he addresses the handshake thing, or do you think it has to be brought up?
Oh, I think he's going to be asked.
I just blame it on cold and flu season.
yeah.
Cold night. No one touched their hands.
Trying to stop
Hey,
the spread.
USC had the flu, so they've actually could reference that.
Yeah, they should be thanking us.
We had a run of flu in the building. We didn't want to spread it.
I
So close to a hospital.
yeah.
Exactly.
He'll be asked about the handshake, but I wonder if he'll be asked about other stuff about that game from Jay Higgins.
Well, he will not have one single question about his recruiting class.
Cortez Mills.
Dana not want to wear a coat?
By the way, speaking of Creighton, I got a couple good ones for you guys before you go. Here's an old friend alert. It's from On3. 5-star plus offensive tackle David Sanders Jr. Has not submitted his paperwork to Tennessee yet, but sources tell Steve Wiltfong that there is nothing to worry about with his commitment.
All is
Even
well.
though he was at Ohio State?
Definitely nothing to worry about. Not even a little bit.
Just like when George Washington Duke was courting Tommy Gunn.
All right, you said it. I'm not worried anymore. So did you see this one from earlier? The quote from our dear friend Cortez Mills?
Just Flobraska.
Okay. So this is amazing. This is a great recruiting bit. So Chad Simmons, who covers recruiting for On3, he got a quote from Cortez Mills. So it says news. 4-star wide receiver Cortez Mills flips his commitment from Oklahoma to Nebraska. Quote from Mills, the Nebraska coaches never let their foot off the brake.
Wait.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not going when the light turns green. Usually I'm honking when you're not putting your foot
They
off the brake.
never stop hitting the brake. They're always on the brake.
He's been on Dodge, hasn't he?
The Nebraska coaches never let their foot off the brake.
He ain't come here to play school. I don't care.
Put their foot
In the
off.
left lane.
I got to click on this story now.
So as a reporter, do you say?
Oh, you got to put that right on the front.
Would you like to clarify?
Yeah. Would you like to? You mean the gas?
The gas.
I said what I said. I know what
They just
Okay.
kept recruiting me. They never let. Okay, so here it is. The full quote. The Nebraska coaches never let their foot off the brake. They recruited me, my mom, my sister. We all had a bond, and that love meant something. We made the decision as a family that Nebraska is best for me. So yeah, very obviously did mean gas as far as just recruiting him.
unless they pumped the brake because they just stayed there and recruited him.
Yeah, they just parked like an emergency brake.
Kind
They
of like
just
how
parked
Barry
in his
Switzer
driveway.
had a coach live by Marcus Dupree to continuously recruit him.
Genius.
I think his main contact was Knighton until they handed it over to guys on offense,
So the whole class signed, right?
except for Jeremiah Jones.
Except for Jeremiah Jones is going to go to Missouri.
Ugh.
And then Terrence Knighton leaves instantly. I think that's a smart move.
So you saying there's some tomfoolery going on?
No, I'm just saying that's what you would do if you, hey, you're probably going to leave here, but why don't you wait until the second we get the signing class signed? And then we'll go. That's how you do it.
That tricked you. He left.
Gotcha.
It happens. You got to play the game.
Never take your foot off the brake.
Ever.
That's the lesson here today. Never take your foot off the brake.
We'll try and work that into every show from here on out.
It's a great quote. All timer. All right. Have a great day, guys.
Enjoy your night tonight.
Yeah.
I will.
There'll be a lot of eyeballs
yeah.
watching you.
I might do some.
Getting to watch a Blue Blood in person?
might-
How about that?
I don't know. I might like drink some
Water?
something that gets me excited. Or some Red Bull or something like that.
It's the official drink in Nebraska now.
That's true. But maybe I'll have a Monster.
Yeah, anything exciting coming up on Jay's Live?
Yeah, we're going to flash back to the last time Creighton hosted the #1 team in the country.
Wasn't too long ago.
Nope.
No.
It went well.
Will
And the
there be
Jays won.
there'd be a court storming tonight, right?
Has to
there
be.
most certainly would be.
Would it be like last night Clemson when they beat Kentucky? That was kind of orderly.
Oh, I didn't see that. They just kind of walked out there.
They kind of, yeah. They made it. And then people got upset and they're like, you know what? When people storm the court at a basketball game, you should shut off the lights.
No, what? That is
Yeah,
stupid.
there was
Sounds
some
like
people
something they
that
did
I
in
think it
middle
was more
school dance.
Kentucky fans that were not happy with them storming the court. And they said, you know what? If you just turn out the lights when kids start to come on the floor, it'll stop it.
Or
no,
you
it
could-
won't.
you
It'll
could-
just be kids storming the court in the dark.
Or
Dark, yeah.
beat them and
Hey,
then they don't rush the floor.
Can you imagine the chaos if when people start storming the field, you just shut off the lights in the
That
stadium?
would be horrendous.
Stop! I've seen Squid Game. I know what's coming.
That would be horrible.
Little clarification.
Hmm.
It is not 20 to 30
Dudes in the portal.
visits for Dana. He would like 20 to 30.
Commits.
Dudes from the portal. That's
Nice.
even better.
Hell yeah.
The
Hell
head
yeah,
coach
Dana.
of the offense.
Yeah.
I like that title.
Goat.
Get rid of all of these guys.
I hope somebody uses that. Like,
Hey,
says
I'm
that
Dana
to him.
Holgorsen, head coach of the offense at the University of Nebraska. Who's
Tell
your boss?
Andy.
The head coach.
Yeah.
I report to the head coach.
And who's he report to?
Reports to me.
All right. That is the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It is Wednesday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday to all my people out there. And what a lovely day. The sun is shining. It's a little warmer than it has been. We're going to heat up to 47 today.
Hello.
Yeah, watch out. Watch out. It's signing day, which people love. And it is the day for probably the biggest non-conference game in the home game in the history of Creighton basketball.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
I don't think you are.
Now my history only goes back till probably about the turn of the century, but it's the biggest non-con game that I can remember. Back in the day, we used to get excited when Long Beach State would come to town.
Bracket buster.
Oh my God, they got a Power 5 team to come. They got a high major team to come here. Northwestern, they're in town. Those are some examples. But number one, Kansas is making their way to Omaha, and they'll play tonight at 7:30 at the CHI Health Center. 6 o'clock is shoot around right after unsportsmanlike conduct. 7 o'clock, John Bishop will take over from the other side of the court. The other side of the court from last year. The same side of the court, if you haven't paid attention so far this year.
He's just tucked in on the end down there, and it just looks weird.
Right behind the world's tallest man, Greg McDermott, who's always standing and moving around. So no amount of glasses will help John Bishop see. He needs the X-ray goggles, see through people.
Some X-ray specs.
Yeah, why not work on it and give them to our boy John. Speaking of Creighton, we will talk to Matt Demarinis today of White Blue Review at about 12:25. That is following, of course, one of my favorite things to do. I Have an Opinion coming up at noon today.
It's back, baby.
Get your opinions in. And Mitch Sherman will join the show at 11:25. We'll talk about the recruiting class and all of the other movements of the day. Probably no Robin Washut today. I'm just assuming no Robin Washut today, so we'll just not make him a part of the lineup. Powered by the referees and John Higgins Weather Guard, because
excommunicado.
Matt Rule will have his signing day press conference at 1 o'clock, in which he will definitely be asked about recruits who signed. Definitely, for sure. Once again, that's the lineup, powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
No, I just want to let the past be the past, and I just want to talk about these recruits today. I'm just so excited about the future.
I think he'll probably go for. Now he's busy. I think he'll probably go from greater than 40 minutes today.
Oof.
Yeah, he might still be talking when the crossover starts. Want to hear from you guys in the show today, 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number, tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, email Connor Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank inbox. We say good morning to the YouTube streamers out there. What's up, brother? YouTube 1620 The Zone TV or at zonetv.live. Speaking of Creighton, Kansas tonight, during the show, I got some tickets. I got some tickies. As you know, it's a tough ticky.
The toughest ticky.
It is a tough ticky. I don't know about the toughest ticky, but it is a very tough ticky.
Toughest ticky tonight.
Toughest ticky tonight, certainly. So we got 4 of them. They're burning a hole in my pocket, and we need to get rid of them before the game tonight. So we're going to do that. So stay tuned to find out how you can win your way into Creighton and Kansas. Like I said, one of, if not the biggest non-conference home game in the history of Creighton basketball.
Oh, but Connor, where am I going to park?
Oh, interesting question. Don't call yet.
We're not doing it now.
Don't call yet.
This
Hang
is
up the phone. Great question, Josh. I'm glad you asked. And I'm glad you said it in that very whiny way.
Where am I going to park?
We have a parking pass. pass as well for a parking lot.
Clutch.
For a parking
A
lot.
nearby parking lot.
A nearby parking lot. It's one of the parking lots. The parking lot that I use to get into the building, the road to the parking lot is closed.
I was going to
So
say,
I had to take a different route to the parking lot.
I was going to do some research when you were talking to Matt today. There's a road that's closed that
I heard
is
about
pretty important.
So I was told that this was going to start happening before we went to Vegas, right? It was 2 weeks ago. And they were like, yeah, 2 days before the Kansas game, they're going to start this. I'm like, thank you. Great job. They're also starting the new construction on the convention center. Very they're Remember how their whole expansion to the convention center?
No.
Remember when that got approved? It was like a lot of money to get the convention center upgraded. And
Sure.
Okay. All right. It happened. Josh, you're the mayor. I thought you were the one spending all the money on this stuff.
Now, under my watch, I would.
You would not expand the convention center?
Not during basketball season.
Well, when
those
are
two
you going to
buildings
do
are
it?
connected.
When are you going to do it?
Not during the College World Series.
Yeah. So when are you going to do it? Anyway, that is starting or is underway at the moment as well. So our lovely CHI Health Center is undergoing a bit of a facelift at the moment. So welcome, out-of-towners. Welcome for the fine folks who made the drive up north on I-29. Maybe you stopped at the Platte City QT. You got got an egg roll from the Roller Grill on your way up.
What a way to live.
Speaking of wishing people good luck, here is a tweet from former Nebraska defensive line coach, Mr. Pot Roast, Terrence Knighton, CEO of Death Row. He says, "Thank you, Nebraska. All love." Heart emoji. AKA, he gone. Will he go with Coach T-Dub to Florida State? Will he take James Williams and Jamari Butler and everybody else with him? Maybe.
Sure seems that way.
Florida State could use a bit of a bit of a rebuild at this point, and they're going to need some. Florida State's going to take a lot of guys out of the transfer portal.
A lot of hot seats over there, Florida State.
By the way, somebody sent me a screenshot of it was basically Nebraska is too deep from the Iowa game, and all the names that aren't going to be there anymore are crossed out. There's a lot of red. There's a lot of red.
Yeah, go Big Red.
No, there's a lot of red strike throughs.
Oh,
so we can go through that during the show today. Plenty to cover. Playoff rankings came out last night. Signing day, Creighton, Kansas. Everyone's leaving. Get ready to speak New York, buddy. Get your pizza and your bagels. Actually, don't get them right now. Just wait till you're there in 3 weeks at the Pinstripe Bowl. 3.5 weeks. We're off and running on a Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. 1 hour ago, actually now 2 hours ago, our dear friend John Rothstein.
He sleeps in April or May.
May.
Yeah.
Still no sleep in April, even though there's only like a half a college basketball game in April.
Yeah.
Still, the portal hits and all that stuff. So he sleeps in May.
That's true.
He tweets, Creighton's Ryan Kalkbrenner, parentheses, lower body, is a game time decision for tonight's game against Kansas, according to Greg McDermott.
Why say anything?
DNP in last game averages 18.1 PPG, 8.6 RPG, and 3.0 BPG. So it is currently my expectation that Ryan Kalkbrenner will play tonight. But that's just based off of a feel more than anything. I guess.
Just a vibe?
Just a vibe.
A gut?
Yeah. Just a vibe. That would be weird if Ryan Kalkbrenner didn't play in this game.
I feel like, hey, you got to try, right? Or you got to be out.
I don't know. I'm not
you got to know you're out, or you got to try. If that makes sense.
So we were at practice on Monday. He did not practice on Monday.
That wasn't that long ago.
That's right. That was 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what he did or if he did anything Tuesday.
This guy tweets a lot.
Who? Rothstein?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at Rothstein?
I wanted to see the tweet for myself.
Oh, yeah. Jeff writes in on the text line.
Hi, Jeff.
So now it's lower body and not mono or lupus. Well, it's never lupus.
It's never lupus.
That was Adrian Martinez, according to Scott Frost that one time. And actually, lupus means a broken jaw.
Same thing.
Yeah. It was mono, and this is, yes, a lower body injury. A lower body injury.
Can confirm.
Lower body.
You cut the body in half.
That's right.
The lower part of his body is injured.
So Kansas, this is the great part about this matchup. And it sort of takes Ryan Kalkbrenner, if you take Ryan Kalkbrenner out of it, it makes it way, way, way less fun. I mean, for obvious reasons, because it makes it, harder for Creighton to stay in the game, but also because it's Ryan Kalkbrenner versus Hunter Dickinson. Hunter Dickinson, the man who's been in college for 100 years. Ryan Kalkbrenner has been in college for 100 years. In fact, Kansas's starting lineup, basically all the names. They've been around, regardless of where they've played. They're at Kansas now, and their youngest starter is AJ Storr, who fans of the Big East and of the Big Ten both know AJ Storr because he played at St. John's and then he played at Wisconsin, and now he's at Kansas. So he's just going to go ahead and do all the conferences. Maybe he'll go to the ACC next year. Zeke Mayo from South Dakota State, who's on his 5th year. Hunter Dickinson from Michigan. So their starting lineup, Kansas's starting lineup, they're the number 1 team in the country, has played in 21 seasons of college basketball.
Oh.
You get 5 guys in your starting lineup, Josh.
That's right. You get 4 years of eligibility.
That's over 4 years per player on average. So they're good.
Yeah, they're number 1.
Yeah, they're probably going to win the national championship. Although I would be interested in like a second round loss. In fact, I was having this thought in my brain last night. I'm like, okay, where's the NCAA tournament sites this year? So where are they going to be? They're going to be a 1 seed, right? So where are they going to be playing the first weekend? The answer, Wichita. They're going to go to Wichita, and then the Midwest Regional will be in Indianapolis. So Wichita, Indianapolis. So So they're going to go to Wichita and lose to like 8 seed Xavier, and the sky will be falling, and people will say, "I think it's time for the Bill Self era to end."
It's fun to look at bracketology in December because it means nothing.
What's it say?
Kansas, number 1 seed in Wichita. They would, in the second round, they would face the winner of UCLA UConn.
UConn. Is that 8 seed UConn at this point?
That is 9 seed
9
UConn,
seed
by the way.
UConn.
Also, first team out, Nebraska.
Wow. Is Creighton in the field?
Creighton's in the first 4 out.
What?
A couple of
I'm so
NIT
sick of
teams in the
Lunardi.
state.
So sick of Lunardi. All right. Good email from Bullet Point Bob. I'm not going to read it, but a good email.
BPB.
Let's see. Here's an email from John. Sounds to me like Kalkbrenner is scared to play Kansas. Since the only time he didn't sit out was his freshman year when he played 9 minutes. I'm not sure what you mean, John. Like,
A lot of people think that this injury is not legitimate, Connor,
why do people think that?
because he lost in Vegas, so he sat for the rest of the tournament, and now big bad Kansas is coming to town.
What in the hell
and he's
are you
scared.
an idiot?
Am I an
no,
idiot?
I'm
Yes.
not. I'm asking the royal you.
I'm a professional idiot, though.
I heard some people that were talking about, like, sit him out just for the hell of it or something like that, or the guy needs a break or needs a mental. Like, are you guys get a grip? Get a grip. All right. And of course, the second he doesn't do well, people will start coming out and be like, well, he's soft and he's just tall. He's had a little bit of a rough go with it.
They've
I
had
think
8 games
it's
in the season.
I think it's been an adjustment for him to be the focal point of the offense, which he most certainly is. It's been an adjustment for everybody. With that being said, it is a gigantic game for Creighton tonight. The Big East is not so good this year, although it did get a big win last night against Cincinnati with Villanova.
Who's in Neptune now, Connor?
Stand up, Villanova, for the conference. And this is the premier non-conference game that you have left, an opportunity to win. So, yes, it is indeed a big game for the Blue Jays tonight. Let's take a break. We will come back. We can take calls. We can talk about Nebraska's sign-in class and plenty more as we continue on. It's Wednesday on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. It is Wednesday here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Mitch Sherman will join us here in about 20 minutes. Many topics to get to with Mitch. Matt Demarinis at 12:25. I have an opinion. 1 week ago, we had quite the show, didn't we? It was this. That was the 7-hour Mushy Socks episode. So, if you want to listen to that, we're probably never going to be better than that day. So that was it.
It was a pretty hilarious show, start to finish.
Everything else is a letdown. Let's take a phone call here in the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Here's Tony. Good morning, Tony.
Morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Great.
Good. So Kalkbrenner's not soft?
That's right.
I just have a question. I just have a question. I just think Creighton's better right now without him. I think their chances of beating Kansas tonight are better without him because it wasn't working with him. And I have never watched a Creighton game where I've truly seen him dominate. Maybe one and then he'll disappear. I definitely don't think he's worth the NIL money you guys are paying him. But the other question is, where's he projected to go in the draft? He's not going to be a first rounder. I don't even think he's a second rounder. I don't even think he should be a third rounder. You're going to take a chance on him as an NBA team. Are you going to make him stronger? Are you going to make him more physical? I just don't think mentally it's there. And I'm not seeing it. Now, maybe I don't know basketball. But
Tony, you maybe sound a little biased. You sound maybe a little biased. Like anti-bias.
No, actually, I'm disappointed he didn't play better against Nebraska. That win right now is hollow.
He will not be a third-round draft pick, though. You are right about that.
I'm not seeing the dominant center that I guess everybody else is. I don't see him at the next level, and I watch NBA quite a bit. I don't see him as one of those guys.
Okay,
I just don't.
All right, thank you, Tony. I appreciate the call.
20 of 22 against UTRGV, a matter of, I don't know, less than a month ago. I believe he's a Wooden Award watch.
I don't even know. He could be a 5th round pick.
No, he can't.
There's only 2 rounds of the NBA draft. Who cares about where he's going to go in the draft or what he's projected as in the draft?
I don't care.
Yeah, there's probably a reason that he's back in college for the 5th year. And everyone knew that it was going to be a little bit different. It's probably because his NBA ceiling isn't particularly high. Probably because he's not a terribly dominant offensive threat. We already knew all these things going into his career and going into this season. Although I think they can utilize him better. His upside has always been surrounding his defense, of which he is the 3-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
The 3-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. That was a horrendous call. One of the worst. One of the worst. Real bad. He's not Shaq. All right. I know people are like,
that's what I'm saying. He's not Shaq.
Yeah, people are like, well, centers. And I think center. I think Charles Barkley. Like,
no rings.
Yeah, great. That tells me a lot about yourself. You haven't watched the NBA in 40 years. You haven't watched basketball in 40 years. It's great. Creighton will not be better without him. Creighton is not better without him.
But
and they do not
he didn't play.
have a better chance to win without him. They have a worse
play.
chance to win without him. They did win that game. He didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody knew he wasn't going to play until the very last second. And at that point, Notre Dame had to kind of scramble a little bit. And they played Notre Dame. Also important. Who's not very good.
They did not win a single game in Vegas.
That's right. 0 for 3. 0 for 3. Yeah, that was a bad call. That was a very bad call.
I disagree. I think it was a great call.
You think it was a great call?
Bad take.
No, I wish that Tony had not have called.
Oh.
I wish that wouldn't have been said.
But it delivered us this fun piece
because
of content.
now it's out there. Now you could just say stuff.
You could
just
say stuff.
But you could just be named Tony and you could just call in and say stuff. And then people hear that and they're like, you know what? I agree with that guy. I thought I saw the same thing. And then it just encapsulates this giant group of people who have no idea what they're talking about. Creighton has to find better ways to utilize Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Yes.
And they are trying to do that. It has been a struggle so far this year.
It's been a struggle against good teams, too.
Yeah, but it's a struggle. It's been a struggle.
Sure.
They haven't found a way to get him the ball. Right? The book is out, as people would say. They're fronting him. They're having this backside help, right? And they can't get him going on the run because Creighton's guards are a little bit different than what they have been over the last couple of years. They're finding what the right thing is to do with the offense. Also, the people next to him in the starting lineup are changing constantly, right? Who is the 4? I don't know. It could be anybody on any given second, and they all bring different things to the table. So he's a very, very good player. He's Creighton's second best player of all time. He's Creighton's winningest player of all time. He's Creighton's most decorated player of all time in terms of team accomplishments.
Yeah, but how many wins would Stephen Ashworth have without him? More.
What do you say?
More.
You think, that's sarcastic?
Yes.
I don't know. Sorry, Josh. I don't know what you're representing with what you just said.
I think Stephen Ashworth would be Creighton's winningest player without that bum Ryan Kalkbrenner dragging him down.
Sometimes I don't know where you get the stuff that you say, Josh. Where is this coming from?
Again, you can just say stuff now. Now that Tony calls
I wish people didn't just say stuff. I wish people didn't. John writes in on Twitter.
Hi, John.
I watched quite a bit of NFL football. That's how I knew Tom Brady went in the 17th round, Tony. Yep. Let's talk about the college football playoff tonight.
CFP.
I'd like to denounce that everything Tony said in this call, just for the record. Everything. Every single word. Every word. Completely inaccurate and incorrect. Old man Doug writes in, by the way.
Hi, OMD.
Tell Tony to back away from the crack. Lay off the crack, Tony. Worst take since Jimmy Allen said Trout was a bust. Pop and Neil need to mix in a pass to Kalkbrenner, old man Doug. Agreed.
We got to write some of these down and do like a tournament of bad takes in March.
Yeah. Do we? Yeah. I would. Well, then we have to we'd be asking then for bad takes.
Yeah.
See, that's what we don't want.
I would like it to happen organically and then.
Right.
Like just March 1st, I unfurl a list. I've been compiling takes.
Big Red Overreaction would be fertile ground for those. You could reference my montage, my Highway to Hell montage. There was a lot of them in there.
I don't go to New York because of the subways. It's dangerous.
And the naked cowboys.
All right. Let's go to the college football playoff rankings last night. Interesting set of rankings. So, not much unexpected in terms of the rankings, but interesting in the way that they were sort of explained to us. So Oregon's 1, Texas 2, Penn State 3, Notre Dame 4, Georgia 5, Ohio State 6, Tennessee 7, SMU 8, Indiana 9, Boise State 10, Alabama 11, Miami 12. Miami, as it stands right now, would be the first team left out of the field because the projected Big 12 champ will come from outside of the top 12, or the Big 12 champ will come from outside of the top 12. So teams are it's really funny because we have two gigantic games in college football this weekend. We have the SEC championship game and the Big Ten championship game. Both of those games involve top 10 teams on both sides, top 5-ish teams on both sides, right? We're talking about Texas, and it's literally top 5 teams. Number 1, Oregon, number 3, Penn State, and then number 2, Texas, and number 5, Georgia. Those games don't matter at all. It's the other games that matter. It's the little guys that matter this weekend. So Ward Manuel is the chair of the playoff committee. And he answered some questions from the media afterwards. And, of course, he went on ESPN and he explained some of the methodology and basically how they're going to handle conference championship week and teams who aren't playing. And because it's long been the thought, Josh, well, if you are playing this weekend, it may hurt you. That's still the case. If you're not playing this weekend, can you get passed up by somebody who does win a game or the opposite? So Ward Manuel, his quote last night was, "We know who has won games against teams that are in these championships. We've already taken that into account this week as we have evaluated." So what he said, in essence, was, we are not going to adjust anybody that's not playing this weekend. If you are not playing in the conference title game this weekend, you are not moving. Interesting. So if, for example, if Clemson wins this weekend, they become the ACC champion, it won't do anything to improve the resume of, say, South Carolina, who just beat them 1 week ago. Or it won't do anything for Alabama. Say if Georgia wins the SEC title game this weekend, making Alabama's win over Georgia look better, even though that win does look better on paper now, Alabama will not be moved. What do you think of that, first of all? I saw that last night and I thought, gosh, that just seems sort of antithetical to the ratings process. But I have ultimately, I'll tell you why I like it in a second. But what do you think right off the bat, Josh?
It should change at least a little bit. Right?
It will change. It will change. It just won't change with the teams who aren't playing.
Yeah,
they will stick.
That's
right. Which seems like, all right. So you got to, let's say, a team. Let's go. SMU is actually the best example of this that we have right now. You know, SMU, where do they move to should they win the game? They're going to displace somebody else. But basically what Ward Manuel said, nobody else is moving. So how does that look when they do the rating show on Sunday? I guess that'll be pretty interesting. But what we've been led to believe here is that nobody is really moving. Well, team moves up, somebody else gets moved back. That might not be the case.
It's weird that he would not create intrigue in next week's playoff or Sunday's playoff reveal show or whenever it is. So I think that's a little weird. But I also think it's probably a little like the basketball tournament where, for logistical purposes, we've pretty much got this thing narrowed down. So we just have to tweak a couple of things.
I think that's closer to what it is.
On the last day.
And frankly, for the record, I think this is a great thing. Because, well, I mean, to use SMU as the example again, if SMU wins this weekend, they can very well stay the 8 rank if they want to. They're going to be the 4 seed in the playoff. They're going to get a bye, right? So that doesn't matter quite as much because we know the bye is going to go to SMU should they win that game. Now, if Clemson wins that game, that opens up something completely different, and we could talk about that scenario in a second. But to what you were saying, Josh, and the fact that the rankings aren't necessarily going to change that much, and teams that don't play this weekend will not be moved. So you avoid all of the shenanigans. You avoid all the shenanigans. You make it really formulaic.
Weren't there some shenanigans last year? And like, wait, what do you mean Alabama's in this thing?
I think this is for the best. If it prevents any shenanigans with the manipulation of seeding, or matchups because you just mentioned the NCAA tournament. What's one thing the NCAA tournament has always been accused of? making matchups for viewability.
Yes.
Right? Making matchups for TV, making matchups with storylines that are baked into
Duke,
it.
North Carolina could meet in the second round. Oh.
Yeah. It's usually not like that in your face, but
Right,
like there's
right.
like there's a guy whose son is the coach of the other team, and they're all of a sudden they're playing each other in the second
Creighton
round.
might play Iowa State in the second round.
Exactly. Right. So there's something. Oh, what Greg McDermott used to coach. There's always something in there. This prevents that. This prevents that from happening inorganically, right? Because if they're already seeded out and everybody already knows, then you can't move them going into this weekend, regardless of who wins. I think it's for the best. It's weird, but I think it's for the best because then you're not changing games based on. I mean, couldn't you just see the committee being accused of flipping around ratings based on things that happen this weekend, and those things happening to teams that aren't playing, right? And then all of a sudden the ratings change, and then all of a sudden instead of going to Columbus, Ohio, we're going to Athens, Georgia, or we're going to Knoxville, Tennessee, or something like that. They avoid all of that conversation simply by doing this, and I think it's for the best. It's a good thing. Now, the question with the ratings, or I suppose how they apply to this weekend, when you take a look at the bracket, it's actually very, very simple at this point. I said yesterday, we laid this out for you. There's really only one bid stealer at this point. It's Clemson. Because Clemson, if they lose, they'll take their fourth loss of the season in the ACC title game. They're not going to be anywhere near the playoff. SMU is already in the field. If they win, they're obviously in. If they lose, then we have a discussion point. There becomes an available spot. And the teams that are basically, we're looking at two spots at that point. For 3-loss Alabama, 2-loss Miami. Enter into the conversation, 3-loss Ole Miss. Enter into the conversation, 3-loss South Carolina. Now, once again, what the committee told us was that they're not going to necessarily move the teams that aren't playing this weekend. So if there is an extra spot to be had in the college football playoff, it would belong. I mean, it belongs to Alabama at the moment, but if there's another spot, that's what Miami is sort of hoping for at the moment because they are the next team up. They are the first team out at this point. So it becomes really, really simple and it becomes super formulaic, which I know people like the intrigue and the whatever, whatever that became last year with the selection show. People like that. And remember, they screwed it up too. They like flashed the wrong. Yeah. They put the right logo up there, but Reese Davis like said the wrong thing. I think that was funny. And then of course, all at the same time, they left 13-0 Florida State out of the college football playoff, which was unprecedented and crazy. But they had their reasons.
Look at where they're at now.
Look at what they're at right now. They went 2-10, and they have Tony White,
and maybe more.
I'm willing to absolutely give up any intrigue that people might have in the stupid, idiotic selection show just to make sure that we have either the right teams in or go about the process the right way to getting the right teams in. I think that's probably a better way to say it at this point. All right. Want to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or you can text that number. We just got an email from Zach.
Hi, Zach.
Breaking: UCF is in contact with Scott Frost. That is what Twitter is saying. I don't know.
For what?
Oh, I think that like
get the band back together.
I would totally hire Scott Frost to be my head coach if I'm UCF.
Huh.
I would totally do that.
Huh. Okay.
That's what somebody is reporting. I don't know how true that is. I'm sure that he is. I'm sure that, like, if somebody called him to gauge his interest, he probably answered the phone and said, "Yeah, I'm interested.
I am.
But you're
I
gonna
am
have to make it.
interested.
You're gonna have to make it worth my while. But
Mhm.
I am interested. I like my life right now. It's not that crazy. I get to be in football, and I get to, be with my family.
There's some anonymity as well.
There is a lot of
Yeah.
anonymity. Would I have that in Orlando? Well, you're in the Big 12. It's a little bit different job than it was in the past.
Mhm.
If I was UCF, I would hire Scott Frost. I'd hire him in a heartbeat.
I guess, yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with
Something was working there, right? I mean,
that. Absolutely.
why not?
On the rankings, Mitchell writes in, I agree the
Mitchell?
teams playing this weekend should not be penalized for a loss. The teams not playing should not benefit. Teams not playing should not be locked in. There's a lot of knots, and but ultimately that is what they're doing. That is what they're doing this week. Which it takes all the drama out of the stupid signing day show. But guess what? That's not what this is about.
Yeah, it's for the best by far.
All right, we'll be back. It's time to have our weekly chat with Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Been a busy couple days covering Nebraska football. We'll get caught up on it next on 1620 The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620 The Zone.
We can play.
All right, we're now joined on the 42 Degrees, the Source hotline by Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Connor. I'm well. How are you?
Good. So signing day, and it gets kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit, especially with the announcement this morning. I guess there wasn't an official announcement, but a recognition of some sort by Terrence Knighton that he has wrapped up his time at Nebraska. Your reaction to that is something that had sort of been rumored over the last couple of days, and now it feels like it's headed that direction.
Yeah, I think that's as much of an announcement as you can get. It's more of an announcement. Well, Tony White's announcement came in the form of him changing his social media background.
I guess that's the new press release.
Yeah, I mean, generally the school from which you leave is not going to announce anything. I would expect that Matt Rule will acknowledge it in his press conference coming up in 90 minutes. But you're going to announce incoming transactions. Certainly Nebraska announced the Dana Holgorsen hire. There will be others that Nebraska has to announce soon. I would expect big one at defensive coordinator. So we await word there. But yeah, it's Terrence Knighton is moving on, and look, it's just going to be a whole new defensive look for Nebraska, especially up front with the players who are graduating and have no eligibility left to the players who have now entered the portal, and now the D-line coach is moving on as well. Nebraska has the resources to hire another D-line coach who is, and Terrence Knighton did a great job in 2 years. You can look at the Nebraska D-line, I think, as probably the most consistent group that, as far as their performance over 2 seasons. And there was not a lot expected from that group heading into 2023, but they showed up, played well, played consistently well, and then kept that up this year. The problems that Nebraska had on defense in 24, I think were more instigated from other areas than what went on up front. It was, again, steady, and he's a fantastic D-line coach.
Yep.
And moving up in the business for sure. But Matt Rule can I'm not concerned. I think Matt Rule can go get somebody else to fill those shoes. And what's more difficult to do is to replace the players. D linemen are absolutely at a premium when it comes to the portal. So you got to find a couple guys and then rely on youth. There are some players left for sure. Nebraska redshirted Riley Van Poppel, very promising young defensive lineman. And there are some others who haven't played as much. Elijah Judy has played quite a bit. He's coming back next year. But it won't be easy to mine the portal for defensive linemen, and Nebraska's going to have to make that a priority.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that piece of it. So that obviously seems like the bigger concern at this point. I was counting, so I went back to the Iowa notes and looked at the depth chart. So they had 27 players listed on their 2 deep, just on the defensive side, and 13 of those players have either exhausted their eligibility or are in the portal at this point. And the portal hasn't opened yet, I guess not officially. So you mentioned it; they'll have some guys back on the defensive line, but we don't even know like which direction they're going to head with the defense yet. Like, is there a way where Nebraska can make this work for them, or is it still too early to tell? Given that it's a pretty blank slate right now on that side of the ball.
Plenty of teams in college football have showed in recent years that it doesn't have to be a 2 or 3 year rebuild when you're looking at a position group or a team in general. And I'm not suggesting that Nebraska has to rebuild its whole team next year. It doesn't. There's a lot of talent, especially on the offensive side, that's that's coming back. You start to put the pieces together at receiver right now, and that's without going to the portal. And I think Nebraska will have some opportunities at receiver in the portal. That's one of the positions that you can really get impact players from out of the portal. Much easier just on the whole than defensive line. So it's not a remake of the whole team, but there are parts of the defense that are going to have to be remade. And until they get a coordinator and a D line coach, I think it's premature to know or have much of an idea at all what direction they're going to go defensively. You know that Matt Rule is going to want a physical defense where the tone is set up front. He knows that's the Big Ten style, and Nebraska's not going to deviate from that. But do they play 3-3-5 like most of the players in the system were recruited to play? It wouldn't be difficult to switch to a 4-2-5 or a 4-3, something that is just a slight modification, and that we saw alignments in that mold often from Tony White's defense. So I don't think it's going to be a major philosophical change, in large part because the defense that we saw the last couple of years it had the ability to move around and shift things.
How, if at all, do you think Rule's vision about defense and how to play defense and what they're going to do on the principles of what they do on defense has changed through his 2 years here?
I don't think it has.
Yeah.
I think he came in with an idea, and maybe it's come into focus because of the competition, because of the Big Ten. I think some coaches come into the Big Ten, the last two coaches at Nebraska are probably examples of this, and are caught off guard by the physical nature of the league. And it may have happened to some degree with this staff last year, but I think it was less pronounced than what you often see in a transition to the Big Ten for a coaching staff. That hasn't been Nebraska's issue for the most part in 2023 and 2024. It's been just finding a way to get rhythm and getting out of the mode of just being inept offensively over a large stretch of that time. So I think on defense, Matt Rule, he's made slight modifications, but I don't think it's anything drastic. And, I feel I think Nebraska fans should feel much more comfortable about a remake on the defensive side at this point, 2 years in, going into the third year, than they should if it was that way on offense. Now, make no mistake, Nebraska's remaking some things on offense, but it has a clear leader there, and it has a quarterback. So it's not like you're going back to square one or square two here in December at the start of the offseason.
How much change is coming with Dana Holgorsen fully taking over as I referred to it earlier as the head coach of the offense, because I feel like that's a pretty good definition of what he's doing. What do you think ultimately he's going to decide to uproot and make his over the next month or two here?
I don't think he's going to go all in on like empty backfields and even 4 wide receiver sets. They might have a lineup of wide receivers that can do that. And I think that ability will be there to go to, what look the remnants of today's version of the air raid, but that's not going to be their bread and butter. He's going to rely on having a running game. It's going to be different, I think, than what he was able to do in 3 games here in November to end the season. But I think that's going to be the foundation of it. Like what Nebraska had at the foundation of its offense. It's not even so much about a scheme, I don't think, with Holgorsen that is promising and that can make him effective. It's about talent, and it's about having a feel for calling the offense. Like that's where his strength is. His strength isn't in today's version of the Michael Leach offense. I think his strength is in calling plays and getting in a rhythm. And what happened in the Wisconsin game, you're going to look to tap into that every week. And it's not going to be as easy to do that every week. Like there were moments where it looked like Nebraska was getting into that mode against Iowa, and then something went off off target or they weren't able to sustain it over multiple drives. That'll be the key in 25 is to get into that rhythm and get him where he's just pushing buttons and it's working. And they should be more prepared and more equipped to do it. I mean, the big thing is they have to rebuild the offensive line. I think there are focuses in this portal season for Nebraska, but I don't think there are any. We talk about the D line, the offensive line, and it's another place where it's hard, maybe not as hard as defensive line to find players, but they're going to have to overpay, I think, in order to get some offensive linemen, because what they have coming back, there's some players with experience, but I don't know if it's the kind of experience you want, and they've got to. It's not about what they have to replace. It's about what they want to be, and I think they're not there right now on the offensive line. If you just look at the roster today, taking out the players who were departing.
Mitch, thank you very much for bringing the Cortez Mills video to my attention. Where he goes he's at the table. He takes off his top jacket to reveal an Oklahoma shirt. At which point he puts on an Oklahoma hat, and then he changes his mind. He takes off the shirt and the hat, and then he throws on a Nebraska hoodie. Now, usually you throw on the shirt, and then if you put on the hat, that means like it's done. That means you double confirmed it. But he even went with the misdirection after that, which I liked.
He even, if you have the audio on the video, he even says that he's going to Oklahoma.
I didn't hear it. I was just watching it. Yeah.
He even says Boomer Sooner, and then strips off that gear. Like he brings new definition to the term flip. Like he flipped on the stage during his announcement. So maybe that's what he was going for. Like I don't know. Nebraska came up on the winning end of that one. I think people would be rather annoyed if it was the other way around.
Definitely
that happened in Nebraska.
Yeah.
That kind of moment's happened in Nebraska. It's happened to every school. It's happened to Nebraska plenty, where you think going into a announcement that, or you're optimistic that it's going to go one way, your way, and then it goes the other way. But I've never seen it where he actually announces to a school wearing the gear and then changes during the ceremony.
See, the problem is it's so hard to do this now because everyone has a good idea of which way the wind is blowing before the announcement actually happens.
Yes, he had to one up everybody. Damn those forecasters and the crystal balls and all that stuff. They don't know. So he took it to a new level. That's for sure. Everything goes. Everything is just normal in today's world of college football. And we've seen bizarre moments on signing day. This one does not top that, but it's just a new spin on the bizarre.
Yep. Had to throw the classic signing day stuff into the rotation, even though we've gone above and beyond since then. All right, Mitch, appreciate you taking the time. We'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
That's Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Yeah. Back in my day, the kids would lay the 5 hats out on the table, and they'd touch all the hats. They'd pick up one of the hats just a little bit. And they put the hat back down. And then they'd hover their hand over the next hat. This one, and then they put it all the way almost on. Put it back down. Put it back down. Nice job by Cortez Mills. That's a true throwback.
Got to keep them guessing.
Isn't it a throwback at this point? I mean, we got, remember this when signing day comes up. Do you remember it was probably a 2 to 3 year stretch where it was right around like the Buki time. I remember it specifically with Lamar Jackson, not quarterback Lamar Jackson, but corner Lamar Jackson from Nebraska, where the kids started making commitment videos, right? Like highly produced videos. They would reveal that they're wearing a Nebraska shirt or whatever underneath their jacket at the end of the video. And then it was growing to the point where the videos would last upwards of 3 minutes, 4 minutes sometimes. I thought we were trending toward full-length feature films. I thought that some kid was going to star in a movie, and you were going to have to pay to get in, buy popcorn, buy Mike and Ike's, and go sit at the movie just to watch the commitment at the end. I thought that's the way we were trending. And then it just kind of stopped. And then we went right back to graphics. We went to Hayes Fawcett and all the children who just, get DMs from 18-year-olds all day, 17-year-olds all day long.
Will you make me a graphic?
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But we were going down a path and then we just stopped.
This is a good spot. Let's stop here.
It just stopped, and then we went back to real life. Another thing, we were talking about the conference championship games a little bit earlier. Another thing to watch this weekend, and we could talk about this later.
The fact that Clemson and SMU have literally never played each other in the history of the sport.
That's funny.
And are in the same conference.
That's funny, but not what I was going to say.
Okay.
If you're interested and you'd like to go to the Big Ten championship game, they'd probably just let you in.
Just ask real nice.
There is a top 5 game in college football, and it doesn't matter. And once again, I said this at the beginning of the last segment. The SEC rather, and the Big Ten championship games are the biggest 2 games this weekend, and they have the least amount of stakes attached to them.
Well, I also think the Big Ten championship game is in a weird spot where
it's in Indianapolis and nobody wants to go there.
Well, that and like the Penn State fans don't want to go because they don't like their chances, I would assume. And the Oregon fans don't want to go because
it's 8,000 miles away.
It's 8,000 miles away, and they've probably got their sights on bigger, grander trips than Indianapolis.
That's it. I mean, that's definitely the talking point this week. Like, yeah, there might be as many as 4 more games for these people. Mm-hmm. So why do we need to spend all our money getting halfway across the country to Indianapolis when we could just say, we're going to have to buy tickets to a home playoff game or a road playoff game, and then maybe the Rose Bowl, and then a semifinal in wherever the hell it's going to be, Dallas or Atlanta or something like that, and then the Natty. Like, yeah, that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of traveling over 4 weeks. So
why am I going to bust my hump to get to Indianapolis to beat Penn State 38-10
in a game that doesn't matter?
Yeah,
like if you lose the game, it's okay. If you win the game, great. Congratulations on your bye. Then I guess that's one less game to travel to.
That's right.
Jason tweets in, by the way.
Hi, Jason.
We used to be a proper country. # bring back commit videos.
They got to be short, though.
I don't know if anybody... Yeah, they got to be short.
Like a vine.
Not exceeding 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Bring back commitment vines.
You got 80 seconds. That's all I'll give you. We'll be back with the odd news. Don't forget to get your opinions in for I Have an Opinion.
Oh, yeah, we do need those opinions.
Coming up at noon. Odd news is first, and it's next on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Onson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
It's time for the odd news. Don't forget to get your opinions in for I Have an Opinion coming up in about 10 or so minutes. But first, Josh, give me the news, because all I see on the real news these days is advice and Nick Baugh for Pillow Windows and Doors. All I see on the real news these days is advice to old people about how to not get scammed. Stop getting scammed. Stop entering your information places. Stop putting in your money in things that look weird to you. Just, if you have a suspicion, just don't do it. That's how you don't get scammed. Exercise a little bit of caution.
They told me not to worry about it, though.
Who tells you that?
Oh, the guy who needed my money.
Yeah. I don't trust that. You should not trust that guy.
We're young. You don't like big corporations, do you? Just send me your money.
All right. What's coming up on the odd news?
Well, we go to London to start a British chef's appeal to thieves to return 2,500 pies that were stolen. Ended in disappointment Tuesday when police found a van abandoned with said pies.
Oh, we found him.
Tommy Banks, who owns 2 Michelin star restaurants and a pub in the northern English county of Yorkshire, said a member of his staff discovered their van was missing along with its cargo,
which is pies.
Of pies, many pies valued at £25,000, which equals 32,000 American dollars.
Wow, that's a lot of pies.
A lot of pies. Banks said, "Hey, don't worry, the van is insured," but he went on to like Instagram Live or something.
Well, they still have to make all the pies.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Those customers are going to need their pies. They don't care whether your van got stolen or not.
And he said, "Hey, do the right thing. Like you didn't steal the van for the pies. You stole it to have a van, and that's fine. Have the van. Keep the van.
Can
Please,
I have the pies back?
Drop the pies off at a community center or a church or someplace. Like you don't have to bring them back here. Like don't let that food go to waste."
I would have requested that he brought him back there.
Sure.
And then we walked into a booby trap and we immediately...
And I get my van and the pies back.
That's right.
Sadly, the thieves were not watching the Instagram Live as police later found the vehicle about 30 miles away from where it was taken with all of the pies still in the back. Sad.
Very.
We go to UTRGV.
Oh.
For as a scandal has broken out on their campus. This one might be tough to come back from, Connor.
Well, they already got close losses to Nebraska, Creighton, and Wisconsin.
That's
so
right. Well,
what could go wrong?
More sadness on the campus in Edinburgh, Texas, as the holiday card design contest that the campus holds each and every year is it's got big controversy, Connor. Seems the winner used AI to create the front of the campus Christmas card this year. The winner gets $1,000 in scholarships for having the best holiday card design. First and second runners up each get $500.
It's not usually that hard to figure out if the people are using AI and image generators or not.
Yeah.
Like the AI image that I tweeted out last night when I proclaimed that Nebraska is going to the Pinstripe Bowl depicted a man so I put in there Nebraska fans eating pizza and bagels taking selfies in Times Square.
Okay, that's a lot.
And then I didn't get what I wanted. So I typed in old Nebraska fans eating pizza and bagels and taking selfies in Times Square. And the picture that I got depicted a man with 3 fingers holding up a bagel.
He does have 3 fingers.
And a woman with 3 arms holding her bagel and pizza. Little hidden gems in there, Josh.
Do you have to specify that to the AI?
Yep. They just give them extra limbs.
Oh, okay.
Or they take one away, whatever.
Oh yeah, but they're going to take over the world with that AI, huh? See, there's more than just the cash prize. The winner gets their name featured in UTRGV President Guy Bailey's annual holiday greeting to the student body.
You can't go sending that out.
No. Now, graphic.
By the way, where did our letter go? Who removed it?
I'm going to blame Jimmy because there's multiple people that come in this room named Jimmy.
So
just my odds are better.
We got a very nice letter from President C.
President C?
Yeah, he put it in my mailbox.
Whoa.
And it it got sent to us and it was put in my mailbox and it said, "Thank you, Connor and Josh, for all that you do and everything." And it was
do a lot.
It was a great season and all this stuff. And there was a personal note in there and it was great. And I wanted to display it in our studio. So I had it right here on the shelf and it's gone.
Wow.
If it's in the trash, I'm going to be very upset about this because I want that letter. I like to keep the letters.
Yeah, you got to keep them.
Who did this? All right. What's next?
We go to Florida for our final story. Connor, what's your thoughts on Raising Cane's in general and Cane's sauce?
I want to be very careful here.
Yeah.
Cane sauce,
anger the children.
Cane sauce is good. You have to understand. I beg you to understand me. I'm not what I used to be. I'm washed.
Okay.
So when I say this, don't be surprised if you're 14 years old listening to this. I can't take the heat anymore. I can't. When I eat Raising Cane's, I feel like a garbage can. It makes me feel horrendous.
Oh.
I can't do it. I don't know why it's that. And so it's like a once a year thing for me now.
All right.
What?
Oh, no, this is a very funny comment in our YouTube section that I'm not going to read aloud.
All right. All right. Keep going.
All right. Investigators say an event transpired Friday afternoon in Florida where a 31-year-old woman was arrested because she became hostile, both verbally and physically, after fast food workers failed to include 8 sauces in her mobile pickup order. According to court records,
You can get however much sauce you request, right?
Yeah. According to court records, Mackenzie Keeling retrieved her food from a Raising Cane's in Clearwater, only to later discover that she was missing 8 packs of cane sauce. Keeling returned to the restaurant and spoke to a female manager who provided the dipping sauce.
I've seen people get a whole big cup of that thing.
Yeah. However, the manager declined Keeling's request that she be provided with extra sauce in return for wasting her time and gas.
So, you know what? You know what I want? More sauce.
Now I've gotten 8. I've gotten 8 from
My
you.
request has gone up. The ransom has gone up. Every minute you don't give me sauce, I will ask for more sauce.
After her sauce bid was refused, Keeling became hostile verbally and physically and disrupting the staff and other customers. During her tirade, Keeling shot out her right hand with force and struck Herbert in the leg. She then allegedly tried to tear off the victim's keys and Cane's ID from a lanyard attached to her belt.
Little too serious.
This article ends with an extra 1.5 ounce container of Cane's dipping sauce costs 39 cents.
Does it really?
That's what it says.
That's crazy.
I'll just give it to you. Just ask.
Really? Do they? I don't know the rules. I've never tried to order extra sauce because you know me. I don't like customization. I just make do with what I get.
Also, Cane's sauce is overrated there.
No, that's pretty good. I disagree with you there. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I like dipping them things in there.
Gotta dip that thing.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
Let's come back for the I Have an Opinion song. We'll do that when we return. Get in your opinions. Any way you'd like to get in touch with the show. Also, stay tuned for the second half of the Connor Happer Show, during which we'll have your opportunity to get into Creighton in Kansas tonight. Stay tuned. Lot to come on 1620 The Zone.
This is the I Have an Opinion song. Haven't done an intro yet. Need to get on that.
Yeah! Goat! Great job, Josh. We're getting many opinions from many places. You can send those in via the text line, via the YouTube stream, via the Equitable Bank inbox. I have an opinion. Josh, what's up with On 3 saying 5-star plus? What does that mean? What's the difference between 5-star, 5-star plus, and 5-star plus? Why do you have to say plus and then have a plus sign? What is that?
Are they too scared to go to 6 or 7 stars? Like, is that what they're implying?
5-star plus, or is there even a 5-star plus without the plus?
Oh,
I don't know. I'm not sure. That's my opinion. We have others. Josh, what are some of them?
We begin with Charles in the YouTube stream.
Hey, Charles.
I have an opinion. Sauce is a mask for bad food.
That is way too black and white, Charles. Way too black and white. There are some foods where sauce is a part of the deal. You know, it's a part of the pie.
I generally, very generally agree with Charles. I think you're probably closer to right. Connor, you.
Well, I'm not saying that he's completely wrong. I'm just saying he's too black and white.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, that's not always the case. Because what it sounds like he's saying is that all sauce is inherently made because it's covering up the fact that bad food is like, or that sauce is bad, or sauce makes the food, like whatever he's saying. I don't think that's the case. There are some places where sauce needs to happen. You know, there needs to be sauce. Sometimes. Glad sauce is there.
Time and place.
I think
St. Elmo's.
If you were to go after the idea sauce is too pervasive in society, there's too much sauce. Sometimes that is most certainly the case. Sometimes people don't actually like the food, they just like the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
That happens sometimes. But I cannot subscribe completely and fully to that opinion. Thank you.
All right. Let's see.
Next, let's do it. Let's hit it. Come on, baby.
I know. I should have been more ready. I got into the sauce chatter.
Do you want me to read some opinions?
Yeah, if you got some ready.
I have 100 of them right here.
Oh, 100.
Yeah, I have 1 billion of them.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the Equitable Bank inbox. Here is Brian. I have an opinion.
Hi, Brian.
Nebraska basketball's current number 0, a.k.a. the Caucasian Steph Curry, is better than last year's number 30, a.k.a. the Japanese Steph Curry. But he will never be loved as much as Keisei. Brian is referring to Mr. Connor Essegian. Connor Essegian better than Keisei Tominaga. That's the opinion.
I agree, though, that he'll never be more
loved. He will never be more loved. Mm-hmm. Never be more loved. Nobody will ever be as loved as Keisei.
Although on that fateful Friday, you were not only getting blown up because Nebraska beat Creighton, but because a man named Connor helped.
Yeah, I got put in the meme war.
Yeah.
They put me in the Creighton responses. They were like, Connor Essegian greater than Connor Happer.
I saw a couple of those.
Got memed a couple times. Sometimes you get memed.
Glad no one named Josh has ever done anything ever.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who is our world's worst Josh?
Worst Josh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Josh Hartnett?
I don't think he's done that many bad things.
I don't think so either.
Just bad movies.
Yeah.
That's all. Some would argue that those are good movies.
Some would.
They're wrong, but some would argue that.
Josh Donaldson.
That guy sucks.
That does suck.
Great take. Bet you're ashamed of that. Next time Josh Odson does something bad, people will say Josh Donaldson greater than Josh Odson, and you'll be very offended by that.
I would.
Here's Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Being a fan of Iowa football is equivalent to, by the way, I have an opinion.
There you go.
Being a fan of Iowa football is equivalent to going to the amusement park and riding the merry-go-round the entire day.
Oh.
No roller coasters, no thrill rides of any kind. Spend the day at the park. But did they really have fun? Must be what it's like walking out of an Iowa football game, even after a win.
But you know what you're going to get.
I don't know. Winning is pretty sweet.
It is.
I do see the meme all the time of like, oh, cool, my team's playing today, and there's a timeline. And then it's like, I was playing football and it says, I'm going to kill myself or something like that. And then it's like, oh, good, we won. At the end of
I've
the
seen
game.
that one, yeah.
It's a lot better when you're winning sports games. That's for sure.
It helps.
Yeah.
For sure.
No doubt. Have you cooked anything else up yet, Josh?
I thought you had 100.
Dude, I mean, I have so many, but this is usually an area where you start reading stuff to me.
Oh, okay.
Or have you quit? Have you given up on the day?
Headley going back and forth on sauces. Sauce, I have an opinion. Sauce is excellent on many things, like wings.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Sauce is good on wings.
We love wing sauce,
Of
don't
course,
we, folks?
sauce is good on wings. All right, here's Heath.
Hi, Heath.
I have an opinion. People that call into sports radio shows and say, how's it going or how you doing, annoy the hell out of me. Just ask your question or say your comment. Curious on your thoughts regarding this topic. So, Heath, I've heard radio hosts talk about this all the time. Like, they get really offended for whatever reason, and they go, don't ask me how I'm doing. You're calling into my show. You know how I'm doing. You know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could not care less. It does not bother me in the slightest. It does not. I don't feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like, you know, people call in, they'll be like, hey, how you guys doing tonight? And we'll just say good. And then it takes 2 seconds and we move on. Why do we have to make a big deal out of it? I don't care at all.
That's exactly what it is, Connor. It's exactly like shaking hands before a game.
Great take.
You just do it and
You
get
just
it
do
over
it and
with
get it over
as
with.
quickly as possible.
It takes 2 seconds. It's painless. And then you just keep on going.
Is it necessary to ask me how I'm doing? No,
Not really.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Does it waste time?
Yeah.
I guess technically
a half a second.
Yeah. And then we're through. I understand it is a crutch for how people start a conversation. Okay, we've just started talking on the phone. I will ask this person how they're doing, and then I will say the thing, which is why texting is so great, because you don't say, hey man, how you doing?
Bad take. I hate texting.
You don't like communicating.
There's just always so many people trying to communicate with me at once.
I could understand you being you, that a lot of people coming at you
just
with things.
Yeah. Look at this. My email inbox is, I'm asking for people's opinions at the moment, to be fair.
I have one from the McAdams family. The whole family.
Rachel?
Great question. I don't know.
I love Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
If Rachel McAdams listened to this show, I would be elated.
Yeah. I'm going to need an update on that, the McAdams family. I have an opinion. It shouldn't be all love with coaches that leave and raid the roster. If it was all love, then you would still be here.
Well, no.
I don't.
That's not true.
I
You
don't
could still
that.
love someone
Yeah.
and leave them.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what's best for both.
Yeah. Or maybe they're just saying that because that's something that people say.
That is something people say.
A couple takes on New York here.
Oh, okay, great.
Here's John. I have an opinion. Going to rat-fested, garbage-strewn New York City is way overrated and way priced. Similarly, Michael writes in, I have an opinion. Going to the Pinstripe Bowl in New York during the holiday season in what could range from -10 to 50 degrees or cold rain to a northeastern snowstorm may be the single worst bowl game ever created. Congratulations, you won 6 games. Now go play in sub-freezing temps. Just sounds horrible. Is this something like, why are people so on our bowl game has to be this is not inherently something that you're guaranteed when you get a bowl game. A bowl game is just an extra game. It doesn't guarantee you that you're going to go play and it's going to be above 70 degrees.
I think it is. Oh God, y'all are going to hate me for this.
Come on.
I think it is the most Nebraska football fan thing ever to beg and plead
for a bowl game
for 7-8 seasons for a bowl game, and then you get it and you complain about where it's at.
See, they don't like half of them, right? You guys wouldn't like Detroit. You guys wouldn't like Yankee Stadium. You wouldn't like Nashville. You wouldn't like, I don't know, the San Francisco an option this year or Seattle or anything.
You'd love
like
the idea of Charlotte, and then you'd get there and you'd be
It'd
like,
be
wait,
cold.
this is Charlotte. There's nothing to do here. It's Charlotte.
people
What am I
don't
going to do?
realize-
Go to a Hornets game?
For everybody who's talking about Nashville too, like it's cold in Nashville, guys. It's cold. And worse off, if it is cold and if it just so happens to snow and Nebraska's trip there, the whole city shuts down.
Yeah, because they can't handle literally any snow.
That's right.
It snowed in Asheville, North Carolina for the first time in 3.5 years this week.
Dude, Asheville, tough time lately.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Getting it on both ends.
Here is another one from Michael. I have an opinion. The McRib may be the single most disgusting fast food item ever created.
That's right.
From the smell to the 70 fake ingredients, some of
that's
which
right.
link to being used in yoga mat production. I can only imagine what eating that does to a human body. Long-term studies still need to be done on it. LOL, don't eat it, Josh.
I am a long-term study on what happens when you eat the McRib. So just
pull question.
I'll back out so you can see what it does to the human body. What do we think?
Are you a long-term study on what eating a McRib does to the human body? Poll question.
All right.
Put that up. Christopher.
Hi, Christopher.
I have an opinion. Sports radio shows need former athletes. What sports did you both play growing up and at what level? Josh?
T-ball.
Did you not
weren't ready for that one?
Did you not play past T-ball? You had to have played into like, second grade, right?
Yeah, a little bit past T-ball.
Did the coach pitch or player pitch?
I think I got to like the first level of player pitch.
That's cool.
And then I was like, you know what?
What was the sport that you took the furthest?
It was definitely basketball. I want to say I played that till 6th grade, maybe 7th grade. And I had a couple of hot spots on the court, so I had some use.
Hell yeah.
In that corner threes and free throws, I was very good at.
Nice.
To the point where other coaches would see me in the corner and yell, "That's a shot! That's a shot!"
Oh man, what a feeling!
Oh
when
yeah,
when you're running a pickup and you get the ball and you're like, and the dudes start yelling "shooter!" Oh my goodness, that is a heck of a feeling.
Now it on an angle or from the top of the 3-point line, no good.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
That is odd.
I need to go to shoot 360.
I played football in 7th and 8th grade, and then in 12th grade.
Okay.
And I always played basketball, but not competitively after like 8th grade. And then I played baseball into college. I played a small amount of college baseball. Right. There's my credentials. Is it good enough to host this show? Probably not. We're going to call somebody else. Chris, I have an opinion. Carolina-style barbecue is garbage.
Oh,
Disagree.
No.
Disagree.
Mustard is garbage.
No, man, that orangey, kind of tangy barbecue sauce, that is the stuff. I love that. I love Carolina. When they have Carolina-style like wings at restaurants and I can get that as a sauce, sign me up. I do that when we go to Oscars for our roundtables, Josh. And you always remark, you say, wow, that smells really good.
Do I?
I don't know. I made that up. I made that up.
Generally out on mustard.
It's not mustard. It doesn't taste like mustard at all.
Isn't Carolina mustard based?
It's like a mustard base.
The gold sauce?
That's what turns. No, it's not. It's like orange.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like that's what turns regular barbecue sauce into a lighter version of barbecue. It's like a mustardy sort of vinegary. I know those two ingredients probably don't sound good to your childlike palate, Josh.
I love vinegar.
Interesting.
Vinegary things.
But
but
it's
not mustard.
Good. I'm in. I disagree with that opinion.
You give me a spicy brown mustard, I'm okay. Yellow mustard, no thank you.
Pedro writes in.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. In my opinion, I feel that Connor's level of confidence would be sky high if he wore a toupee, just like George and Seinfeld. I think I would be more conscious about it. I would not like it, actually. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't. I think that would make me worse. I've embraced the bald by this point. Although I have seen a bunch of people go to Turkey and get the hair transplant thing. And I'm like, damn, if I only had like 3 months of my life to just not be in public and not show people that I got this surgery.
There has to be a gap. Like you have to be away for a little bit.
Yeah. Then I don't know. Maybe that's something I'd be interested in.
You remember like when Brian Urlacher showed up and
he had hair?
Yeah, like, oh.
Super weird.
You have hair.
Super weird. I have an opinion from SEAL Team Nick.
Hi, SEAL Team Nick.
Losing players and coaches to the portal from a 6-6 team is not a big deal. Not all the way across the board. Two black and white. Old man Doug.
Hi, OMD.
I have an opinion. Messi was the most overrated player ever. Damn.
The soccer?
Messi?
The soccer player?
Messi's pretty sweet, right? He was kicking that thing.
Yeah. He's got a statue, right? They all have statues.
That's Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah.
I think. The bad looking statue. I'm pretty sure that's Ronaldo.
That's Ronaldo.
Messi's pretty cold. I like Messi.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is in the hierarchy. But he's on the kind of back end of his career, right? That's why.
He's playing in Miami.
That's why he took the big money to play in Miami.
Is old man Doug watching soccer?
I don't know. That's an interesting opinion.
I would have guessed he was out on soccer.
Venmo Chris.
Venmo Chris.
I have an opinion. Nebraska's dead. There's no hope. Stop watching. Move on. Pick up a book. Write poetry. Eat a sandwich. Find a hobby. Let it go.
I like a lot of the hobbies he suggested in place of Nebraska football, but I think you can do both.
Yes. 3 months of Nebraska football, 9 months to do the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ben.
Hi, Ben.
I have an opinion. National Signing Day doesn't mean as much as it used to. How many of these players will be at the schools they signed at in 1 year, 2 years, when they graduate? When they graduate is a great question. Like
less than 50%, right?
Oh, I was thinking in the neighborhood of like 30.
Okay.
It's probably not that low. That's probably a little bit of an overshot there, but yeah, not a lot. Text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
I have an opinion. I like Connor. That's what it says.
Great opinion.
I agree with that opinion. One text just says Josh Peterson. I agree.
That's a human.
Let's see. Happer's Beam guy says young Josh Odson taking corner threes, handshake meme, present day Isaac Trout. Good one. Chris, I have an opinion. Josh is the glitch in double dribble. Corner three.
There was a bit of that going
on. Now many opinions are coming in about former athletes and when they're on the radio and things of that nature.
Just read the ones about Jason Peter.
I'm not reading any of them.
Stir the pot.
Jeff, I have an opinion. If one of your hobbies is eating sandwiches, you need to look at your life.
Whoa, terrible take. Maybe the worst take on the show today.
I love eating sandwiches.
Yeah. Sandwiches are great. No sandwiches ever hurt anyone.
Let's see. Here's Joe. Hi, guys. I have an opinion. Coaches shouldn't give their players hot fries. What does that mean?
Like the snack, hot fries?
Yeah, like why not?
Is it bad for the system?
Probably fingers.
Yeah.
You don't want the ball slipping through your hand. I have an opinion from TC. Some people say that cucumbers taste better pickled. LOL. Peace, TC.
I would say pickle's greater than cucumber. Yeah.
Larry.
Hi, Larry.
I have an opinion. Volleyball awards were announced today, and 25 players were on the first team.
Yeah.
There are only 6 players in a volleyball court at the time.
Get the hell out of there.
I understand it's really hard to make the team in a league with 18 schools, but this is borderline participation trophy territory. Further madness, the second team had 16 players. Is a team 16 or 25? Larry.
Great take. I love
it. Great opinion. Chris, I have an opinion. All bowl games should be warm. I don't know. You could go to a bad bowl game and get bad weather.
So
it just provides more incentive if you want to go to a warm weather bowl game.
Yeah, they should be, but they're not. They're
just not. I like that they're weird. They're at baseball stadiums. Mm-hmm. They're at God knows where. Colin in White Plains.
Hi, Colin.
Josh O is a professional McRib eating athlete. He is bringing the heat of informed takes to this show. Thanks, Colin White Plains.
Respect, Colin.
Those are the opinions, Josh.
That's my game.
Anything else on the YouTube that we need to hit?
None that are coherent.
None that are coherent.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, what is this? Hippie. How many YouTube accounts does Hippie have?
There's a lot of hippies that listen to the show.
Connor Yapper is why I'm here. And Josh's multitude of banger hoodies and hats.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I've cultivated my fit over many a year.
That's right. And I do be yapping. I got to admit that. All right, coming up next, let's talk some Creighton hoops. They play Kansas tonight. Have you heard?
I have heard some rumblings.
Matt Demarinis, White and Blue Review. It's a new basketball season. We're going to talk to Matt. So I texted Matt last night. I was like, come on the show. And then I thought, when are we going to have Fanta on?
Johnny Fanta.
Do we need to have him on while the Browns are still playing? And I think the answer is yes. At some point in the next 3 weeks, we need to call Fanta.
Just got to get a Jameis take out of him.
I know, 100%.
The guy's dancing.
He gets his phone after the Browns games. And he goes, I'm in hell. This is hell. He's basically the Jack Mitchell of the Browns.
He is, but he sounds so happy to be there. Like, still just taking it.
All right. We are back with Matt DeMarinis next on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We'll get a hold of Matt Demarinis here in just a second. Got a couple tweets there in the previous segment. Always a couple leftovers for my have an opinion. Tom, I have an opinion. John Cook should be the next football defensive coordinator. Black shorts greater than black shirts. You like that one?
I do. I don't think it would work, but I like it.
All right. Maybe John Cook could do it. Let's see. Hey guys, I 100% agree that is so Nebraska complaining about which bowl game they want to go to when 90% of the people complaining aren't going to go to the game anyways. That was from Max. Yeah, probably. Sam wonders what's up with all the negative boys during the segment today. Great question. Also has an opinion. I have an opinion. New York is fine. It's great. The second weekend of March, for example. I agree. Welcome to the Big East, Nebraska football. That's maybe what they'll be saying when Nebraska goes to the Pinstripe Bowl at the end of this month. I love New York. I've long said it, but maybe I'm just a New York homer. I would be one of the only people. You know what? In fact, one of my goals, I'm going to make this one of my goals for until the bowl game happens. I'm going to try to convince the local media every day and try and convince the fan base every day that this is going to be fun and good and cool, and they should embrace it. I'm going to do that. Because I feel like and by the end of the month, it is my hope that people will be excited about the Pinstripe Bowl.
Are you going to try and single-handedly turn the tide on New York City?
Yeah.
That's a lofty goal.
Now,
I respect
if you're one of the people like, I don't go on the subway because I might get robbed, I'm probably not going to change your mind. But if you're worried about the weather and if you're worried about this and this and this, I think I got something for you.
I'm going to get mugged.
You're not going to get mugged. You're not going to get mugged.
Right outside the adult movie theaters they got in Times Square.
Everybody is going to just go to Times Square.
Yeah. You're going to go to the M&M store. You're going to eat at the Rainforest Cafe.
You're going to look at all the cool billboards. You're going to be amazed by the fact that it says Nebraska versus Boston College. And you're going to take a picture of it. And you're going to send it to your grandma or whatever back in Lexington. And they're going to say, whoa, New York in the big city in Times Square. Then you're going to go catch a Broadway play. Maybe you'll go to what was the play, Josh, that the Nebraska football team saw when they played Rutgers in the 20s? I can't remember what it was.
Like That's Entertainment or something.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to try and go see a Broadway play, and that's going to be the story. All right. Let's talk some Creighton hoops tonight. They have a big game against the Kansas Jayhawks. 7:30. You can hear it here on 1620 The Zone and, of course, 1019 The Keg if you prefer the FM. Matt Demarinis, White and Blue Review, joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Talk about the game tonight. Matt, good afternoon. How are you?
Good. My apologies, guys. I was doing an interview with Mallory Break after their game, so I didn't time it properly.
Oh, no. Okay. I wondered. That makes sense now.
His ears are still ringing from the children.
So you were watching the game and the sounds of the game as well, I assume.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. I love Kids Day games. Just love them. They're the best.
Everyone says that. Everyone always remarks to me how much they love Kids Day games and how excited they are for them. Yeah.
I can't emphasize how much I love them enough.
Is this game tonight the biggest non-conference home game in Creighton basketball history?
I mean, no. I feel like no is the answer. It's a big one for sure.
You just default to no, probably, but
yeah, because I don't know. That Kentucky NIT game.
Oh yeah, Good one.
That one felt like something that Creighton would never get again. It's a do or die tournament type game. And even though Kentucky wasn't, anything special that year, they still had NBA talent on the floor. And it was the pre-Calipari era, so obviously it wasn't like a prideful era of Kentucky hoops.
No, but it was still Kentucky.
But yeah, I'm just saying, I still have never felt an arena like that before. It's the energy in the building felt different. It felt like a different style of big game, if you know what I mean. I think there's only been a handful of games in that arena that have felt that way. So that one always is a tough one to supplant for me, just because it just felt it was the first really, really big one against a true blue blood, and the arena was juiced. I mean, there were all kinds of Husker football players walking around in Creighton gear, like they were juiced. Like it was a very weird, very unique type of environment. The game was awesome. It was down to the wire. That one probably is tough to supplant. But we'll find out. Like if Creighton and Kansas have anything similar to what they had at the Fog a couple years ago.
Yeah,
maybe that'll be enough to supplant it.
Yeah, people forget about that game. And then there was the Gonzaga game where both teams were up around 100 a couple of years ago. I mean, that game lived up to the hype. That's for sure. That game was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, that one was lit for sure. Yeah, so there's been a handful, like the I guess Kentucky, Kansas, Carolina, Duke, UCLA. Those are like true traditional blue blood type programs. So it's definitely a unique situation when you see those logos and those jerseys and when Kansas and Duke played in CHI in the Elite Eight game a couple of years ago.
Yep,
that's still one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life.
Same.
So yeah, it'll be a different feeling tonight when both teams hit the floor and start warming up and getting loose for sure.
Let's on the Kansas side first. The first thing, I mean, obviously they're very good and they are Kansas, but the other thing you now know about them, they just are Kansas, right? Then you add in the fact that they're talented, but also they are incredibly experienced. 21 years of college basketball in their starting five, and so when you factor in the environment tonight, they're certainly not going to see anything that they haven't seen before. I just wonder what that might look like, how their experience might play out against a younger Creighton group with some experienced players.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be a factor. I mean, I just think Kansas is Kansas. Like when you put that jersey on, you kind of know what to expect. You accept a certain level of pressure when you put that uniform on. So I think even though they do have different pieces playing together for the first time this year, they'll be ready for whatever they're going to see in the arena tonight in terms of, hostility from a crowd or just energy from a building during Creighton's good moments. So they'll be able to handle it. I mean, that's kind of who they are, I mean,
definitely.
When you go to KU, when you go to Duke, when you go to those places, you accept certain uncontrollable aspects of being parts of those programs, and what comes with it is a hostility from every road environment you're going to face, because they don't want to beat you, they want to beat who you are representing. So I imagine they'll handle it as well as most Kansas teams do, because that's what you accept that when you play for Kansas. So yeah, I think it'll be mostly about basketball, because I don't expect too many moments tonight where Kansas will look rattled by the crowd. I think it'll just be about who can execute the best.
What has gone most wrong for Creighton over the last 4? And I guess that is non-injury category.
Right. Yeah, certainly the ailments have been, something different for sure. I think the thing that's gone the most wrong, I think for me, and it's the most surprising, is the shooting, because I felt like they had a good shooting roster. So to see them, I think the first 6 or 7 games, it might have been the first 6. They were at 33% or below in every single one of them. That's the longest shooting funk, if you will, of the MAC era. I think before that they only had 4 straight games of those type of shooting numbers. So it was a little bit alarming, because the sample size is small, but it's also the only sample size you have. So at a certain point, you are who you are. If that's who you are every single night, that's who you are. So yeah, I think it was encouraging to see the last game and a half in Vegas them shoot north of 45% to normalize that a little bit. But that's still kind of one of the things that has gone south the most that I was not expecting it to go south. Like, I just look at the way Isaac Trout, Jackson McAndrew, guys like that can shoot, and the way they are shooting is surprising to me. So I imagine there's going to be some normalization there as the season goes on because they're just too good. They're too pure. They're too natural at it that I would be surprised if that funk lasts much longer. And based on the last game and a half, it seems like they're breaking out of it a little bit.
What is Creighton's count? Assuming Ryan Kalkbrenner plays tonight, which I guess is no given, but what is Creighton's next counter to what teams have been doing to them with shutting down the post over the last couple games? Like, how do you get him on the move a little bit more, and how do they get the ball in his hands more?
Well, I mean, there's multiple ways. I mean, I think the shooting one is the most important because you have to stretch the defense out. And right now, when Ryan Kalkbrenner is on the floor, defenses aren't stretched out. They're compact. They're kind of always being aware of where he is. They're bracketing him a lot, and they're just living with whatever Creighton can generate from the 3-point line right now. And so far, in the games where teams have done that, Creighton has, especially against competition that they're going to be facing the rest of the season, Creighton has not been able to beat them that way. So that'll be the plan of attack for most teams until Creighton proves that they can counter it consistently. And the other part of it is just being more sound on the perimeter against ball pressure. You can't miss him when he's open because obviously he's not going to be open very often. And then the other part of it is getting him on the move because that's where he has been his most effective in terms of scoring, is getting him on the move, facing the basket, out of pick and rolls. And that's not just on the ball handler or the action itself. That's on Kalkbrenner. Like, he has to be really sharp with his footwork. He has to be really quick out of his rolls, and he has to make sure that he's drawing enough defensive attention out of pick and rolls where the downhill attack is there for the ball handler so they can get right to the rim and score easily, or the flip up is there because the tag is late. So yeah, they have to just be a little bit sharper in ball screens, a little bit sharper in pick and rolls, quicker, more purposeful with those movements, because as much attention as he's going to command defensively, they have to be able to get the easy ones when the easy ones present themselves. They can't be as hard every single possession. So you have to take advantage of those situations where the defense is just a step or too late, a step or too slow. Creighton has to punish teams for those situations. Considering
what they lack in rebounding and what they have really never done in terms of turning teams over on defense, how concerning is the turnover trend right now? I mean, just some really careless stuff, and they've had a variety of different ball handlers, and they're trying to figure that out over the first handful plus of games so far in the season. But I mean, what kind of concern level do you have for that as a part of this team so far?
Yeah, the possession battle is always a concern when Creighton's losing it, because stylistically they aren't built to win that.
That's right.
They're built to just play. They're built to play the game out as the possessions come. They're not built to generate more. And so when teams take less from them, it hurts their ability, because it puts a lot of pressure on them to be super efficient in order to win. So that's why the Texas A&M game, although they were leading most of the way, that's why that game was trending in a bad direction, because Creighton wasn't doing a good job on the defensive glass. And A&M, it just took A&M, a little bit longer to make them pay for it, but eventually they did make them pay for it, So you can't give teams 2 and 3 pops at a time offensively to score on you, because they will. So defensive rebounding is a big one, because not only because it limits the opponent's extra possessions, but because it allows Creighton to get out in transition and, create mismatches and score off the break, which I think is a big part of, needs to be a big part of their offense, considering how how tough a time they've had scoring in the quarter court so far. So, they just have to they have to do the things that they're known for, which is taking care of the basketball, rebounding defensively, getting out on the break, taking advantage of easy opportunities when you get them, and knocking down open shots. And when you look at all those boxes, all those columns so far this season, Creighton has not checked enough of them to be better than what they are right now, which is why you see some up and down performances regardless of opponent. But with the way the schedule ramps up the rest of the way, they're going to have to be sharper, and they're going to have to check more of those boxes on a nightly basis in order to be successful.
Hey, by the way, before I let you go, volleyball, obviously at home this weekend, and but if they make it through, probably on the road next. What do you think about their chances to make a deep run in this tournament? This looks like a team that has all the pieces that's ready to make a deep run.
Yeah, I mean, this is as good of a Creighton team as I've ever covered, for sure. And considering how long I've been covering them, I think this is easily the best team I've ever had. So, yeah, I mean, I think they have a good draw in Omaha. I think, South Dakota's playing really well right now, and they are balanced offensively, so they'll present some challenges. I haven't seen a lot of Ole Miss this year, but if you're an SEC team that made the NCAA tournament, you've got enough to advance for sure. And then Florida State, to the same token, they clearly have some of the best talent in the country, and they played in the best conference in the country. So they're battle tested. They're not going to be intimidated by anything that they'll see this weekend. So it's a good draw in terms of, like, Creighton is clearly the best team in it, but that doesn't matter anymore at this time of the year. Everything goes back to zero. Nothing you did before matters now. It's all about what you do every single point, every single rally from that point on. And then, yeah, I mean, when you look at in terms of their potential to go on a deep run, you have, if chalk holds, you have the reigning two-time national champion as your Sweet 16 assignment. And then you likely have a Penn State team that is so good at home that they swept Nebraska and Louisville there, who are two top 4 seeds. So Creighton is certainly, from a personnel standpoint and an experience standpoint, they're built for a deep run. But the road is, I guess, treacherous, because there's a lot of teams that can say the same that are on their path as well. So what I think it is going to be really exciting, because this whole tournament, based on all the upsets you've seen this year, are quote-unquote upsets, I just think it's a really deeply talented field, and it wouldn't shock me if there's a lot of unchalky moments throughout the tournament. And I know it's a narrative every single year that talking heads always say, oh, there's so much parity. I think for volleyball, it's more true this year than it ever has been, and maybe ever will be when you consider how many COVID years are still out there. It's just a really deep field, and I think it's going to be a really exciting tournament overall.
All right, Matt, we'll let you go. Appreciate you taking the time, and see you in a few hours. See you tonight.
Awesome chatting with you, Connor. Thanks, bud.
That's Matt Demarinis, White and Blue Review. You can find his stuff there. Always puts together the pregame primers, very, very detailed. And then, of course, the post-game pods after with Padilla. I can only imagine how long tonight's will be.
Over under 2 hours tonight.
I'll go a hair over.
Okay.
People will be watching tonight, which means they'll get questions,
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a good competitive game, there'll be a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you look at the spread. Vegas thinks it'll be a good competitive game.
What do they know?
Crowd will be good. Crowd will be good. Yeah, people are like, well, what do they know? It's about Fedor. Fedor, like it's Shador. Fedor's not playing tonight. I don't think that's happening.
Not tonight.
No. Game by game, I guess, or week by week, or month by month. I don't know. He's not playing. He's practicing.
He is. He's in.
That's
there.
different than what it was before. And people get all freaked out about that stuff, though. Platcat writes in.
Hi, Platcat.
No, not the biggest non-conference home game. Alabama, the greatest rivalry in college basketball. Creighton makes the return trip. What? A week from Saturday? A week from Sunday? Something like that? Yeah, it's coming right up.
We had a call from. I'm going to leave this person. I'm going to let this person be anonymous. This person said that a young man by the name of Larry Bird once came to Omaha and played the Creighton Blue Jays, and Creighton won. That was a pretty momentous occasion.
I mean, this is a pretty big deal. We're talking about it in the likes of, like when Creighton was the Kentucky thing. It might not sound like anything now because Creighton's hosted Blue Bloods, sure. and other ones checked off their box tonight. But back in that day, even though Kentucky wasn't anything because it was pre-Calipari, it was insane. It's like, whoa, Kentucky, what's going on? Because like I said, people used to get excited about, a team from any other conference coming here that wasn't named like Lindenwood or something like that, or whoever they were going to play in the crappy preseason games or non-conference games. So yeah, this is it's a little bit different tonight. We will be back. We'll round out the hour. Matt Rule will have a signing day press conference at 1. We might check in with that a couple of times. Still plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, a lot of people in the YouTube chat apparently think that I said Lemonwood instead of Lindenwood. Did I say Lemonwood?
I don't know.
Check the tapes.
Oh. Yeah, we'll get right on that.
Check the tapes. I saw Lindenwood play women's basketball last night.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
They had a girl on their team who I admired greatly.
You admired her?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, She shot a ball with 7 to 10 seconds left in the shot clock with no regard for human life from the First National Bank logo, which is 10 to 15 feet beyond the three-point line, like toward the sideline. She threw it all the way up into the sky. No reason to shoot this whatsoever, other than she kind of stepped into it. She kind of got a pass and stepped into it. Banked it. And then she got real confident and she started just rainbowing them all in. Lindenwood was hanging in there for a while. She was banging in them threes. Just totally zoned out when I started talking about women's basketball. Interesting.
I was doing what you asked me to do. I checked the tapes.
Check the tapes. What did I say? Did I say Lemonwood?
Well, it's
a team from any other conference coming here that wasn't named like Lindenwood. It kind of does sound like that. Lindenwood. Hey, there's a clear D in there.
I hear
clear D. Clear D.
Poll question, can you hear the D?
Poll question, was there a clear D?
Okay, that's better. That's better.
Was there a clear D in there? Blackhead says, my cousin just signed to play football at Lindenwold this morning.
Poll question up at Happer Show. Was there a clear D in there?
There was a clear D. Absolutely. Mike writes in on YouTube, quote, I respect that. That's drunk PA Happer in Vegas talking to Lemonwood women's basketball players. I did. I had a lot of respect. I had a lot of respect for that last night. Also, shout out to Nebraska women's basketball director of operations, Amanda Hart, for scheduling at least 3 schools in the non-conference whose nickname was Lions. I confronted her about this last night. I said, hey, did you know that you did this? Did you know that you scheduled all of the Lions in non-conference games? And she was like, yeah, I tried to. You caught me. Thank you. I appreciate that. And they still, I believe, have a home game against the Lady Lions of Penn State so far, are still coming up this year as well. Got a tweet here from Andrew. Looked into going to the Huskers Bowl game, the Pinstripe Bowl being 3 days before New Year's Eve. Put prices way out of range, especially hotel-wise. Oh, man, that is true, right? So Nebraska Pinstripe Bowl would be the 28th, which is a Saturday. And then New Year's Eve would be the following Tuesday night, leading into Wednesday morning. Okay. All right. So what do I always say, Josh? We don't understand nuance, right?
We do not.
Not everything is black and white.
That's right.
So here's the deal. I love New York. I love New York.
Is this going to be your pro New York tip of the day or something like that?
Kind of.
Okay.
It kind of doubles as that. What I'm about to say is not good for New York.
Oh.
This is not a good time to go to New York. I forgot about New Year's. You do not want to be in Times Square for New Year's or near Times Square. You don't even want to be in that city.
There's no bathroom.
There's no anything.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, you don't want to be really in Times Square, period, for the record. But like, if you go to New York for the first time, sure,
you're
go look around, see the people painted their bodies all sorts of different colors, and they're not wearing clothes. Go, say hi to the weirdo Mickey Mouse. You see the big billboards and everything. Get a soubrette. Do the whole deal. Great, but not in the days leading up to New Year's Eve. That's a bad idea. I may have changed my tune in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Oh, no. Andy on the YouTube chat.
Good. What?
If Connor loved New York anymore, he'd be Ronan Farrow's father.
I don't get that reference.
So Ronan Farrow looks exactly like Frank Sinatra.
Really? Who's Ronan Farrow?
Ronan Farrow is a journalist. He
looks like Sinatra?
His mom is Mia Farrow, the actress.
Okay, the internet is saying
Ronan
that
Farrow,
he does look like Frank Sinatra.
Ronan Farrow's father, quote unquote, is absolutely not Frank Sinatra, though.
Frank Sinatra did not secretly father Ronan Farrow, despite absurd speculation.
His father is Woody Allen, I believe.
Ronan Farrow's father is Woody Allen?
but that man looks like the offspring of one Frank Sinatra. Either way, whether the father be
Why have I
Woody
never heard
Allen,
of Ronan Farrow?
He did all the Me Too stuff and the Harvey Weinstein reporting and all that.
Yeah, I stayed away from that.
Yeah. So regardless of whose father that is,
yeah, it seems like it's Woody Allen.
That person loves New York as maybe just as much as Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. I love Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, you do.
I do love Frank Sinatra. I was listening to Frank Sinatra today.
I
was listening to Frank. You know who else loves Frank Sinatra? My dad. Happy birthday, Dad!
Happy birthday, Mr. Happer!
Bet you didn't see that one coming.
I didn't.
Happy birthday, Dad. We love you. It's his birthday today.
Your dad also not Frank Sinatra.
Not Frank Sinatra, but is a fan of New York and an inhabitant of New York for a lot of his life. Most of it, in fact. There you go. Happy birthday, Dad. 1 o'clock hour.
Wow.
Is coming up. Oh, it's the press conference that's coming up. Maybe we'll check in on that a little bit. And we have some more. We have some Husker topics that we do have to throw your way, of course, as well. But now is the time. What do we do here? All right. I don't think Fedor Zugic has been assigned a number yet. I was gonna say like you have to call in. Maybe it's like 7 or something.
How would you know?
Let's pretend it's 7.
Okay.
So in honor of that, and people saying on the internet that he's going to play, which he's not.
He's not going to play. You got to let that dream go.
He's not going to play. But in honor of that, if you're caller number 7 right now, you win 4 tickets and a parking pass to tonight's game against Kansas. The deal does not get any better than that.
Caller 7. What do I have to do, Connor?
You just have to call 402-951-1620 and
I don't have
say,
to answer any questions.
You can say, Fedor, help! Or something like that. But that's just bonus points.
2 things have happened in the YouTube chat this week. You tell me which is more likely. Fedor playing tonight or Bill Belichick becoming the new defensive coordinator at Nebraska. Which is more likely to happen?
Oh, man, that's hard.
Both have a 0.0% chance of happening.
Yeah, they're both really hard.
And quite frankly, you're a dumb if you think
I guess it's
happen.
probably Fedor.
Yeah.
It's probably Fedor in that case. 951-1620, caller number 7 wins 4 tickets and a parking pass to tonight's Creighton, Kansas game. Josh will send them to you if you're caller number 7. Once again, 402-951-1620. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I got an email from Colin in White Plains.
Hi, Colin in White Plains.
What do you think Colin's doing?
Defending New York.
You got it. He says, in my opinion, no city does Xmas time better than NYC. As for New Year's Eve, everyone does realize that it is on Tuesday, and the game is on Saturday night, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Xmas time in NYC is always crowded, but the ambiance is second to none. Go to Rock Center, St. Pat's Cathedral, see the light show, the window decorations on Saks Fifth Ave. I could go on and on. So what? It's cold. It's cold in Nebraska. Embrace it. Go see NYC at one of the very best times of the year to enjoy the city. This is coming from a Southwest Iowa small town transplant. Thanks, Colin in White Plains. All right, I'm back in it. He's right. I love a good vibe, don't you?
Go see that big tree.
People always say, I've never been in the Big East tournament before, but people always say, like, man, you gotta just you gotta like, you gotta feel that.
All the random crap you go to, and you didn't.
No, I've never made it out to a Big East tournament.
Huh. Sorry, I thought that would have been a lock for you.
It's usually like I don't know, and then you never know how long they're gonna be there either.
You don't quite know when.
And I guess you don't know it for the NCAA tournament either, but I don't know. Yeah,
but it's only going to be 4 days instead of strung across 7.
Been to the Big East tournament. Maybe save a spot on the charter this year. I'd love to go.
Jay's live from Madison Square Garden.
Wouldn't it be great?
Our boy Connor Happer.
I would do anything. I would eat a pizza and I would eat a pizza bagel.
I love that. That's a punishment for you.
Yeah. Matt Rule's signing day press conference has just gone live. Do we want to check in? Do you want to see what's going on over there?
Do you want like an opening statement?
Yeah, I kind of wonder what he's going to talk about.
Okay.
I wonder what he's going to say and what he's going to do. By the way, if you're calling our station right now, we've given the tickets away. So
they are gone.
You can stop.
Oh.
But
I gotta find I want to find the beginning of this. So,
all right,
allow me some time here to vamp.
So let's just do a refresh on the day. So we learned yesterday that James Williams and Princewell Umanmielen were going into the portal. There was also Vincent Jackson, Nash. You're losing Nash and Ty right next year. So the defensive line is cleared out a lot. In fact, as I said, I think I said this to Mitch earlier, there's 27 guys listed on Nebraska's defensive 2 deep for the Iowa game, and 13 of them will either have exhausted their eligibility or are in the transfer portal at this moment. That's about half of them. Give me a couple minutes, and then we'll get to that. So Nebraska has very few returning defensive linemen at this point, losing Hutmaker, losing Vincent Jackson, losing Jamari Butler, losing James Williams, losing guys like Mekhi Bayer, Stephon Thompson, Javen Wright's a senior, Prince Will. So there's a big turnover to be had. Nebraska, of course, has also lost their defensive coordinator. It is looking like quite the reset and rebuild or whatever on that defensive side of the ball. But today, to add on, it was confirmed that Nebraska is losing their defensive line coach, Terrence Knighton, Mr. Pot Roast. Not sure where he's going, but you could guess, you could make an assumption even, I guess, that he's going to go to Florida State with Tony White. But I think that's probably a guy that is relatively highly sought after by the college football world in general. So I would imagine that he would have other opportunities given what he's done with Nebraska's defensive line at this point. So that is your update for the day. Also, it is signing day. Now, there was one piece of drama, obviously. Okay, so let's reset even further with the recruiting class. They were still waiting on one flip, which we assumed that they were going to get from Cortez Mills, the wide receiver from the Miami area, who had been committed to Oklahoma for a while now. Had sort of flirted with Nebraska over the last several months. He did complete that flip. He is now signed with Nebraska. He took off his Oklahoma shirt and hat and said, "I'm going to Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner," and then ripped it all off and started wearing a Nebraska hoodie, which was really funny.
Great move.
So Cortez Mills is in the class. Michael Terry, the 5-star wide receiver from San Antonio, he did as we thought he was going to do and signed with Texas today. I think he played the game a little bit. A nice job by him. And there was one more piece of drama. A member of a commitment to Nebraska's class, Jeremiah Jones. He was the one guy who hadn't signed with Nebraska. Matt Rule at his signing day press conference just announced that he has indeed signed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
There was a rumor that he was going to, or there was some speculation, I guess, that he was going to flip at the last second to Missouri. And according to Matt Rule, they, quote, fought off some last-minute recruiting to land Jeremiah Jones, who becomes the 20th player in the class. Rule said, quote, "That's what happens when you recruit the best players in the country." And Jeremiah is one of them. Also, and we'll play some of this in a second. We'll see what Rule has to say. But the quote on Rule getting asked immediately about captains not shaking hands against Iowa. Quote, "That's not what we want to do. That's not the way we want to handle it." Thank you, Matt. So all you idiots for the last couple of days who have been defending not shaking hands.
No, he can't do that. They waved goodbye to you last year.
Or whatever. I don't even know what their argument was, but people just love to defend whatever happens, right? I'm just like, hang on. They're not shaking hands. Like, this is really easy. Now you'll have to backtrack. Unfortunate to be you in this spot. Josh, let's play some of this stuff. Let's we'll catch up with this for just a couple minutes and get a check-in with Matt Rule at the signing day press conference. Now, is this live or is this at the beginning?
This is at the beginning. I kind of wanted like an opening statement or whatever.
All right, let's see what he's got.
Obviously, I haven't seen you guys since the last game, so I know there's lots of things to talk about it. First, just like to thank all the 20 young men that decided to sign with us today. Thank their families, thank their high school coaches, thank all the people that have mentored them and believe in us and want them to come here. I know you guys probably have 19 really fired up on the way down here. Jeremiah Jones signed with us, so fought off some last minute recruiting, but that's what happens when you're recruiting the best players in the country, and Jeremiah is one of them. So we're fired up that he joined us. But to all the recruits, to all their families, again, thank you. We don't take that responsibility lightly. It's been for some of these guys, you get in, you take the job that first year, it's kind of like triage, like you're figuring out who to recruit. The second year, you're really getting to know people. This is, our first class with 2 years, and really getting to know a lot of these guys. I can't thank the coaches enough, our recruiting staff, athletic staff, all the people in the community, people on campus, all the player hosts. I mean, it's a lot of visits, it's a lot of subtle and big thank yous. So very, very grateful for them, for all the work that they've done. Before I move forward, I just want to say one thing about the Iowa game. And, obviously our players didn't shake hands before the game. Captains, I didn't know that even after the game. I found out about it, afterwards. And that's not what we want to do. That's not the way to handle it. I do want to say, we showed up at the game, and really for 12 years now, we show up to an away game. We always kind of go to the 50-yard line. Some guys, will say a prayer for safety. Some guys will just break it down. We've never really had any problems. We had a problem last year at Colorado for a few minutes. We had a problem this year at USC, but for the most part, we kind of go and do it. Iowa didn't want us to do it before the game. They told us we had to go to the end zone. When we came out to walk to the end zone, there were 7 armed state troopers standing on the logo. And I think our players felt some type of way about police in pregame. And, they felt that. It wasn't maybe channeled the right way. But I do, we've got great guys. We've got great leadership. Not the right decision, not what we wanted. But I think when you watch that game, credit to both teams, between the lines, no unsportsmanlike fouls, no trash talking, no taunting. And watching college football, even after the game, I think both teams handled themselves in a way that a lot of games didn't. So, we'll grow from that. We'll learn from that. But I know a lot of people have asked me about it. I do want to make sure everyone understands kind of the whys, why our guys maybe felt that way. But again, we'll be better, and we'll make sure our guys understand that we'll always shake everyone's hand before we play them and after, regardless of the score. And that really brings me to our team, and I'm proud of this team, and I'm fired up that these young men want to join this team because there's some really great players in this signing class. But I know we're at a time right now where everyone's kind of looking around saying, hey, what's going to happen next? Nowadays in college football after season, there's a lot of change, and it's the new normal, and everyone better get really comfortable with this because this is how it's going to be. But I do want to thank the guys who were on the team last year, whether they've gone into the portal or they're at practice, tomorrow morning. I want to thank them because this has been hard. This has been a hard 2 years, and they've battled and they fought. And I want them to be proud of the fact that, I don't know the last time, we beat a team that finished the season ranked, but we did that this year at Colorado, and that was a big moment for us. So, that's the trophy for beating Wisconsin's upstairs, and it doesn't say Nebraska on it till this year for 12 years. I mean, that's staggering when you walk by it. And we're not going to apologize for being the first team to beat Wisconsin. We're not going to apologize for getting to a bowl. And so you might have heard me say it earlier, but on a journey like this, there's no other program in the Power Five that had a longer streak of not going to a bowl game. And so it's hard to do what they did. It's hard to do what Giff and Ty and Nash and all those guys did. So I don't want them to forget that. I don't want them to, we don't want to be 6-6. We want to have a better record. We want to win those close games, all those things. But I don't want them to forget what they did, because what they did was hard. And sometimes we have a tendency to overlook that. So being in bowl practice right now is exactly what this team needs, exactly what we need moving forward. I saw guys yesterday. I saw guys practice and look like I haven't seen them look all year. And that was really good. Obviously, staff-wise, we have some things going on right now. Tony White, I can't thank him enough for his 2 years. I thought he did a good job. Tony came to me on Sunday and just said, hey, for some family reasons, wanted to get his family back home to Florida. Obviously, I was disappointed. I liked coaching with Tony. I liked being around him. I thought he had a great affect. But, he's got to go do what he's got to do. And as I told the team, I've had two defensive coordinators in 12 years as a head coach. Both guys, while they were with me, were Broyles Award finalists. The next defensive coordinator will be a great defensive coordinator. We will play defense. I was ecstatic when Dana decided to stick around. He decided that he saw enough here in his time here to know that over the course of 4 weeks that we can get this thing offensively to where we want to get it to. And so we'll find the right defensive coordinator. I know there's a lot of angst from our guys right now about, hey, what's it going to be? The defense isn't going to change, but the offense is going to be better. And we have some assistant coaches. People have asked me about Terrence and Garrett. They're both with us. They both have some opportunities, and that's this time of year. And whereas a lot of staffs hide it, I've told every recruit, hey, this is out there and this could happen, because I don't want to lie to kids. I'm not going to lie to players. So in the coming days, we'll see where they end up. If it's here, great. But I'll be straight up with you. I think that some of those guys they might take some other opportunities. And when you're a coach and you have a bunch of players coaching for former players of yours coaching for you, to me there comes a time when for them it's time for them to kind of go spread their wings. They played for me. They want to go coach somewhere else and be under someone else's guidance. And when I see Syracuse, I see Fran Brown, the head coach. He had the same conversation with me at some point. So I'm grateful for them if they're here, not here. We've hired Coach Shorts to come in and coach the receivers even before this. The initial plan was to have both he and Garrett there. Dana's offense, they've always kind of had an inside and outside receivers coach. Was Dana's only request. After 4 weeks, he said, Matt, I love the entire staff. I like working with Glenn. I like working with Sad. I like working with Donnie. I like working with EJ. But I do want to bring in my guy that I trust and believe in. He's one of the best recruiters. Great coach who kind of knows our system. So we made that, and then we'll see what happens as a result. And then finally,
long opening statement.
portal. I know everyone's kind of flipping out a little bit right now. I tried to prepare everybody. I tried, even with the signing class we have today, even with the kids in the portal, we're still over 85 scholarships. Like there's going to be more. And everybody's journey is different. Jamari came in to see me first thing Monday morning. We hugged. I never expected Jamari to be back next year. Then he came to me and said he wanted to come back and play. I thought he was going to go to the NFL. He's going to do what he has to do. Everyone's got a little different story. Some guys, this is just a different age. Everyone comes in now. Am I going to start? Am I going to play? And I think you guys know me well enough to know I'm not going to tell everybody what they want to hear. I'm going to tell them the truth. And some guys will stay. Some guys will go. A lot of people want to come here right now. We're getting a lot of calls. It'll all be fine. It'll all be great. And as I look at where we're at right now, everything that's happening is by design. My history has always been to be 6-6 in the second year, get to a bowl game, and the third year make a jump, and we'll make that jump. And I'm adapting to the new landscape. When I first got here, you could only transfer once. Now you can transfer twice in a year. We'll adapt. We'll have good players, and we'll play good football. So I know it's a lot of things, but I've gotten asked a lot of questions on and off the record, so I figured I'd address them as best I could. And with that, I want to take whatever questions you have, but I do want to make sure I finish by saying thank you to all those recruits again, because I think this is an excellent class. And I think we got some guys who can come in and play early, because this class is going to have to come in and play early.
All right. There you go. There's that's the opening statement, which actually took like 11 minutes.
It seemed pretty lengthy, yes. But we knew that was going to be the case.
All right. So the bullet points that were hit, handshake thing, shake hands.
I want to shake your hand.
Shake your hand. Both before and after the game. We're going to shake their hands no matter what. Didn't feel like the cop thing was necessary. Understood.
Armed.
Agreed with that. I'm handshake memeing with the handshake take.
Okay.
By Matt Rule.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing, recruiting class. Okay. Nice. Congratulations. Number 3, assistant coaches. So Tony White, I believe his what he said by family, what he meant by family, I think I'm not 100% sure on this. I think his wife is maybe from that area. Like the Tampa area, the Florida. And so that could be a connection, right? But I like we said kind of always with Tony White, I just didn't feel like he was going to be here after this year anyway. We always thought it was going to be for a head coach job, and it's another defensive coordinator job at this point. And, that one's okay. As far as the other assistants go, he said, this is how he characterized it, and I think this is the way you do it for right now. So he confirmed the hire of Dykel, we're going to get straight in that pronunciation at some point, Shorts, the wide receiver coach who was, quote, Dana's only request to come in and be the wide receiver coach. So he'll be here.
I'll do it on one condition.
And he said that Rule said that Terrence Knighton and Garrett McGuire are still here at the moment, which I believe to be the case. But Rule also said, I'm going to be honest with you, they'll probably look for other jobs. Right? So it sounds like a situation where maybe Rule would be happy to have those guys back on the staff. It's just, we got to get the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and then you can stay here until you don't work here anymore.
Right.
And then you can go to your new job. And frankly, that's what these next few weeks are. It's just piecing together everything. Bowl practice. Does Nebraska have a team? The part that he mentioned at the end, hey, thanks to these freshmen for coming in, because we're going to need them to come in. They're going to be young. We always knew that they were going to be young, right? So, I guess that's the thing that I keep coming back to at the end of the day. If you want to avoid panic, you always knew that Nebraska's defense was going to be graduating and moving on basically after this year. Right. You knew it was going to be a fresh start-ish. This is probably a little bit more of a clean break than a fresh start, right? I don't know if people understand what I'm trying to say, the kind of difference between that. It's it's a pretty hard reset at this point on the defensive side of the ball, where maybe it didn't have to be before. You keep your defensive coordinator, you keep some of the guys that are in the system, and they will. John Butler is going to be the interim defensive coordinator for the bowl game, and he is a candidate for the job. And like I said yesterday, it's my current expectation that he will be the defensive coordinator. Once again, it's 1:20 on Wednesday. It's only good for 1:20 on Wednesday, for the record. But if I had to predict right now, I think it would be him. So they're just trying to piece it together for the next 3 weeks. Every way you can. Portal in, portal out, coaches in, coaches out, players in. What are you going to do? It'll be interesting to see as we get closer to the bowl game how they'll approach the bowl game. Right? Obviously, you want to try to win the game no matter what, but what kind of players are you playing in the bowl game? Who's available for you in the bowl game? Do Nash and Ty go in the bowl game? Are
you going to try some things schematically?
I get the sense that those guys stuck around. They're here. Why not play in the bowl game? But at the same time, they have hopes after they leave college.
They got futures to think about,
no doubt. So, be really, really intriguing to see how they approach it over the next couple weeks. So he's still going.
Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they're afraid of the subway, so they're not going to go.
Maybe they're afraid of the subway. All right. We'll take a quick time out here. We'll come back. We'll grab a couple more quotes from this press conference, and we'll of course get a preview here of Creighton and Kansas, which is tonight.
People forget
6:00 shoot around here on 1620 The Zone with Austin. And 7 o'clock from courtside with John Bishop and I think it's Taylor tonight. T-Storm.
Sounds right.
It's T-Storm tonight. So you can listen to that here on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Cake at 7:30 this evening. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Hey, I was just checking out my Spotify rap for the year. Bad news for the Connor Happer show. The Connor Happer show did not make Connor Happer's top 5 podcasts of 2024.
You're not grinding tape on the way home?
I do listen to I listen to segments from our show, just various segments, various times. But no, many local podcasts, local shows, local things of that nature. I was my top podcast topic was sports.
Interesting.
In case you were curious, Severe Reaction was one of them.
Oh, that's a great show.
There you go. Got some podcasts. Got some podcasts on there. If we show up in your Spotify Wrapped, go ahead and send it to us. You know, we like to RT.
Send us that screenshot.
And I like to see what you weirdos are listening to.
Yeah. I'm always up for a new pod.
See, people always say that. I'm actually never up for a new pod.
Oh yeah?
I don't drive enough anymore. Like back in the day when I was driving like an hour each way every day, I'd be like, yeah, hit me. That's when I listened to Kirk Herbstreit's audiobook.
Oh, funny you say that. He just got a
new dog.
Well, no, he got a letter from the President of the United States.
Joe Biden?
Yes.
He is still the president.
People forget.
Yep.
Sharing his appreciation and compassion for the loss of Ben Herbstreit.
Sleepy Joe, a little late.
Well, it's government rigmarole. It takes a while to get anything done.
Hey, you got to write this guy a letter. His dog died a month ago. Nebraska coach Matt Rule said the school is making a commitment to Heinrich Harberg to try him at some other positions because
there it is.
He wants to use his athleticism in the NFL. Interesting.
Taysom Hill.
So Mitch and I talked about this actually this morning on our podcast. Like
a very good podcast, which should be in your Spotify Wrapped.
It actually is in mine.
Wow.
My show is not.
How vain are you? Or not vain are you?
But that show is a half hour. Each one of these episodes, we do 9 episodes a day of this show. Or no, 12 episodes a day of this show. And they're each almost a half hour.
That's right.
It's just not, there's just not enough time.
A lot of
content. And I got to be honest, not all the segments are winners.
Whoa.
I wish they were, but I have to be honest with you all. Not all the segments they're not all winners. Sometimes they suck. And that's on me.
Got to win the play.
But it's one thing at a time. Hopefully at the end of the show, we can come out above 500.
Remember last Wednesday's show? We went 12-0.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty good last week. So we talked about this morning. So Kalen went in the portal yesterday.
That's right.
You got young Dylon. Hit me with a little bit of that Dylon.
Dylon.
Thank you.
Oh no! Disaster!
I just saw it and I had to click it. Yeah. And you signed TJ Lateef today, Mr. Lateef. And then you got the Heine man. One thing, so Heinrich Harberg all of a sudden becomes like an important piece for next year because he's a backup who has experience, and now you don't have the safety net of Daniel Kalen there anymore. It turns into kind of TJ Lateef, who maybe you trust a little bit less and is a year younger, and the drop off gets a little bit steeper from 1 to 3. But as long as Heinrich Harberg's there, you have the safety net of number 2. But I always wondered, as far as so we talked about Heinrich Heiberg as like, okay, what does he want? If he wants to play quarterback, if he wants to be a starting quarterback at the Power 5 level or at the college football level, he probably needs to go into the portal. He probably needs to go elsewhere because there's a big log jam by the name of Dylan Raiola sitting right in front of you, and he's just never starting over Dylan.
That's right.
It's not happening. And neither was Kalen, and that's why he went into the portal. So the intentions become known. Harberg, it's good to finally get that clarity on him. Rule said, and that was Sam who tweeted that quote. I don't have the quote exactly, but he feels like the way that he can get into the NFL and prolong his playing career is if he uses his athleticism. So Nebraska will come up with ways to use him. So what that means is basically he's out of the quarterback room.
Right.
He's not. We're not doing this weirdo, is he the backup quarterback or is he the gadget player thing anymore. He's officially the gadget player. So he's not really quarterback anymore. So does that mean Nebraska jumps back into the portal to get a second quarterback again? Who could you sell on that? It's a similar conversation as it was last year.
Well,
or I do have an option.
Oh, okay.
They applied to get young Jalen Football's window back for this year. He redshirted. What's he want to do with his life? Maybe he wants to jump right into coaching or whatever the heck he's going to do. But
clock's ticking. He's 38 years old.
He is 1 billion years old. Might that be where Jalen Football steps into the equation?
I have a suggestion.
All right.
I saw a young man's name in the portal yesterday.
Who's that?
Chubba.
No, we're not going to bring Chubba back.
Not bringing Chubba back?
No, we're not going to bring the Chubba back.
But they always say you can come back in the portal.
You can. I mean, it is allowed.
It's allowed. No, I don't want that to happen.
I love this. How it's now not only not rare anymore. It's becoming more and more common where players will play 4 years at 4 different schools. Or 5 years at 4 different schools.
Mm-hmm.
2 schools, blasphemous. 3 schools, whoa, what's wrong with you? 4 schools? Nowadays, it's just normal. So the Chubster will try to find his 4th school.
Remember when Dylan Raiola did that in high school?
Dylan Raiola was way ahead of the curve on this. By the way, according to the Reese's Senior Bowl, Ty Robinson has accepted an offer to play in the Reese's Senior Bowl.
I'm sorry, who?
Source, Reese's Senior Bowl. Ty Robinson, big-ass Ty.
Big-ass Ty. Okay,
That's right.
Okay, that's right.
That is exactly right. So the quarterback situation is now one to monitor a little bit, now that there's some clarity on the Heinification of the offense.
Ooh.
We'll have more, of course, from Matt Rule tomorrow on the show as he finishes up his press conference today. And, of course, you'll be able to hear more about it on this afternoon's Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Do you try some of those weirdo things with Heinrich in the bowl game?
Man, great question. What the heck is going to happen in this bowl game? I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea.
I would.
It's going to be a weirdo skeleton staff with a bunch of I don't know. They might play some kids who just got done with their senior year of high school 2 months ago. I have no idea.
Hell yeah.
You could do that, by the way.
That's weird.
It's super weird.
Yeah.
Maybe have them go back there and fair catch a punt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh, we got people that can fair catch. Well, I don't know if we have people that can fair catch a punt.
We officially don't anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We are going to need someone to fair catch the ball at the 4.
Would you like to volunteer with a small monetary donation to Nebraska's NIL 1890 fund? You can be the designated fair catch guy for the Pinstripe Bowl.
No, that sounds terrifying.
You don't want that?
All those big men yelling at you.
They can't hit you. They can't touch you.
But they get really close.
They get really close. Sorry. Yeah, they do.
And if it's
if you wave your hand,
if it's cold out, that ball is going to be really hard and just going to bounce off my arms.
Yeah, if it's
going to
snowing,
hurt like hell.
you have to look up into the sky.
Yeah. That New York smog.
And you would certainly get mildly embarrassed if you didn't catch the ball.
But I'd be as good as anyone else in that position the last 10 years.
Exactly. And you could say that you made a contribution to the 1890 initiative.
Great. I might consider this. I might have talked myself into it.
Creighton is a 3.5-point dog at home tonight.
Home dog.
Against the Kansas Jayhawks.
Number 1, Kansas Jayhawks.
My little Ken Palm.
What's your little Ken Palm thing you say?
Don't you have a drop for that?
I do.
Is there a little Ken Palm drop on there? Hit me.
Sometimes Ken Palm's full of shit.
Thank you. What do you think of Ken Palm this time? Kansas 79, Creighton 74.
Call me a negative boy, but I would think I would be pleased with that result.
Not enough points? You're thinking KU by more?
Well, no, that is enough points. Yesterday, the over-under was 150.
Okay. Homer, whatever. I think this game's good.
Good close?
Good close.
Okay.
I think Creighton brings it. Crowd's behind him.
I don't know.
Right? You're less sure.
How effective is Cock going to be?
I'm not sure. Hard to know. But at the very least,
very
like,
good.
If he plays, he's at the very least one of, if not the best defensive player in the country, and you're going up against Hunter Dickinson.
Yeah, you're going to need
so like
that.
if he's not an offensive threat, okay, but he is a defensive threat. Now, what I don't really want to see is Hunter Dickinson going up against Fredke.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that.
No,
I know people love Fred King. I don't want to see that. I don't like that. So that changes things pretty drastically, as it should, because he's their best player and he is very good, as we discussed earlier during the show. I think this game is close. I don't know. I could see Creighton winning it. I wouldn't predict it just because it's difficult to imagine at this point, but I think it's close. That's my prediction.
I like the Jayhawks by more than 4 points.
Okay. Brandon writes in.
Hi, Brandon.
Do you remember that Nebraska beat Creighton? I do. It wasn't actually that long ago.
It does feel like a lifetime ago.
It does, but it was
like 10 days ago.
Yeah. It's like a week. Yep. One more thing from Rule.
Hi, Rule.
The plan is for Marcus Satterfield to coach the tight ends. Quote, that was Dana's call. I gave him full reign whenever you want.
Like for the
Dana
bowl,
loves Marcus Satterfield.
For the bowl game, right?
No. Next year.
I
told people this months ago.
The phrase next year was in there?
I'm reading a tweet from Mitch Sherman that says,
reliable
the
source?
plan for Marcus Satterfield is to coach tight ends next year at Nebraska.
Wow. At $1.4 million? That's more than the OC.
That I'm not sure about. I told you guys this months ago. I said I could see a world where Marcus Satterfield is still on staff in some capacity. And I told you why.
He loves that guy.
I told you why.
Rule loves that guy.
He is Marcus Satterfield will, like, he's with Rule. He will do whatever is necessary. Right? And so you go up to him and you say, we can't have you coordinate the offense anymore. Okay, what can I do to help? Like, that's a really valuable teammate. Mm-hmm. Say whatever you want about about how good he is at coordinating the offense. I obviously he wasn't very good at it.
I'd say not great.
But there's something to be said for how good of a teammate you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just because he's not so good at coordinating an offense doesn't mean he's a worthless football coach.
Could have taken the bag and went home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be back. Pulse, tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone.
Warren looking, and it's intercepted at the goal line. Unbelievable. Wow, Jack Sawyer, the hero. Captain Jack.
Why? Can you tell me why?
I made a promise to Jack Mitchell to keep that drop alive.
Oh yeah, it's on our board forever. It's not going anywhere. Captain Jack. Captain Jack. As he takes his last breath.
Captain Jack.
It's like you saw the Oh No disaster and had to play it. I saw Captain Jack and I'm like, I made a promise to a man.
All right, poll questions. One from yesterday's crossover.
That's right.
Can you creep without peeping? Can you be creeping without peeping? Yeah, you could just be kind of around, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can. 59% say yes. And 2-3 polls from today. Is young the new old?
Many are saying
yes. 67% say yes. Are you a human study on the long-term effects of eating the McRib?
Bet your ass.
I am not, because I have had less than 2 in my life. Maybe less than 1. I may have had a bite of a McRib.
You go and they're like, hey, do you want another McRib for $1? And I'm like, yeah, throw it on there.
I can tell you with great certainty that I have never bought a McRib before with my own money. Maybe went through the drive-thru line at McDonald's when I was a kid and my dad was like, try this.
You gotta have this.
Yeah. Because my dad does like him. 71% say no, they are not a human study on that.
Happy birthday, Papa Happer.
And finally, was there a clear D in there? Lindenwood.
That's right.
Lindenwood. Yeah, of course there was. Check the tapes. Lindenwood. Thank you. 58%. Did you keep that tab up just for me?
Not on purpose, but yes, it was still up.
Wow.
And ready to go.
You see how that good that made the show though?
It did.
It was awesome. Lindenwood. 58, not Lemonwood. 58% say yes. They heard the D.
I think it was in there, yeah, for sure.
Heard the D. Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching tonight?
We are watching college basketball. We got Creighton hosting #1 Kansas, 7:30 on FS1. You should listen to the radio call. It's better. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock right here on 1620 The Zone.
I was looking forward to John's opens, his kind of preambles before he starts the broadcast. I wonder which angle he'll take tonight.
Kansas Creighton is a part of the Big 12 Big East Challenge. Other games in that challenge tonight, 5:30 on FS1. Good lead in for Creighton tonight. Number 15 Baylor at number 25 UConn. And at 7 o'clock, on ESPN Plus, number 5 Marquette is at number 6 Iowa State. The disrespect running rampant for those two teams putting that game on ESPN Plus. Meanwhile, ESPN has an SEC ACC Challenge doubleheader. 6:15 tip for number 10 Alabama at number 20 UNC, and at 8:15 number 2 Auburn at number 9 Duke. More basketball on your radio tonight. Montana State at Omaha, 7 o'clock on 1290. It's part of the Big Sky Summit Challenge.
Love a challenge.
Omaha is at Portland State in the women's game. That is on at 9 o'clock on 1180. Creighton beat Xavier earlier today, 82-54 in the women's game. One more women's game for you, 4 o'clock tip, which as God intended, on ESPN2. Number 11 Oklahoma at number 22 Louisville. NBA doubleheader on NBA TV tonight, 6:30 tip between the Lakers and the Heat in Miami. And NHL doubleheader on TNT. Bruins Blackhawks at 6:30, followed by Stars Kings at 9 o'clock. Connor, there's a new version of Jeopardy for us to watch tonight.
What do you mean by that?
Amazon Prime, first 3 episodes of Pop Culture Jeopardy. The pop culture themed offshoot sees teams of 3 compete for $300,000. Colin Jost hosts.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Definitely in on that.
Sort of.
In more game show news, 8 o'clock on ABC tonight, Shaquille O'Neal will be on a celebrity theme. A holiday-themed, episode of Celebrity Family Feud.
DJ Diesel. That's it.
That's it.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you,
So
Connor.
we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. It's time for the crossover coming up next.